David Arquette, Dewey from the Scream movies, as you know. Remember, there's only one rule to surviving a horror movie, and that's subscribing to Craven Something Scary.
Well, good evening, visitors, subscribers, patrons, and Cravenites. Welcome to Craven Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. Well, here we are on another Monday. This month has literally flown by. It's Wes Craven month here on the channel, where I give special attention to Wes's films with a lot of extra watch parties than normal. And it started back actually the last week of July. And here we are, guys. We're wrapping up August. And there's a couple of more watch parties this week that are Wes Craven films to finish out Wes Craven month. But I'm so glad that all of you are here tonight as we continue to celebrate the career and legacy of Wes Craven. And also, we look to the future and we look with our eyes forward to Scream 7 and some news today that I share that's getting around on social media. You may have seen it. If you haven't, definitely watch the video by the same title of this live stream. I posted it about 6 hours ago. And yeah, we're going to talk about that and lots more stuff with Scream 7. We're going to have a good time and looking back and looking forward. And before I bring my guest on tonight, I do have a couple of folks that are joining me, good friends that are going to be here to help me go through the scenarios with you. I want to say hi to all of you in the chat. Now, obviously, can't call everyone out by name, but I am scrolling through the chat and I see you all here that has left a comment, and I appreciate it very, very much. And just know that I know that you guys are here. I'm seeing your names, and it's so good to see you all, as always, on these live streams. So good. All right, that's awesome. Now, a couple things real quick before we get started. I always like to say this on every live stream because a lot of new folks come in. You just never know. So I like to always say this. Number one, of course, put your comments, questions in the chat on the topics tonight, and I will do my best to get to your questions. However, I've learned by doing this now for almost 2 years, which is crazy in and of itself, but I've learned that it'll be impossible to get to everyone's comments and questions. So I ask that you not take that personal, because it's not. It's just the nature of things and how it goes, all right? But like I always say, that's why I stream no less than 3 times a week, sometimes 4 or 5, depending on what's going on. So there's always opportunities, okay? And lastly, if you do have a burning question that you really want to ask about Scream 7, filming locations, or maybe you have a theory that you really want to get addressed, I do have an opportunity for you to do that. Simply send in a super chat. You move to the front of the line ahead of every other comment that I've got starred to look at, and we'll get you on the screen. We'll talk about it. The panel will talk about it, and that's a possibility for you. So just know you can always do that. And not only does it get your comment addressed, but it greatly helps the channel out. Your guys' support from all angles is huge, including your financial support. So thank you guys for that. As I like to say, it's a win-win for everybody. So anyway, guys, just keep that in mind. And real quick, also, I want to acknowledge all of my patrons and my channel members, as I affectionately call Cravenites, of course. And you know what? I'm going to bring a couple of my Cravenites on the board right now before I play my clip here with all of your names so we can all applaud you. But first, let me go ahead and bring a couple of of established Cravenites here on the panel, and we'll all applaud you together. So first up, in order that they joined me backstage, I'm going to bring in. Now this is going to get a little confusing because they both share the first name, and so I'm going to be real careful to try always to refer to them as their channel name abbreviation. So we'll see how that goes. First up, ladies and gentlemen, this is the king of Funko Pops. I don't think I've met anyone that's got a collection like he does, and it's darn right impressive. Please welcome the one and only Eric, otherwise known as Two Boys and their Scary Pops. And look at there, Ghostface.
That's right.
Bad. Dude.
What's up?
Hey, Eric. So good to see you, man.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. How's it going, everybody in the chat?
Absolutely, man. You're very welcome. And now I've got another Eric here that you all are very familiar with, who's always on my live streams, either in the chat or on the panel, sometimes both in the same stream. And so please welcome one of the most overall talented individuals I've had the pleasure of meeting and getting to know, and one of the most generous on top of that. Yeah, there you go. See? I'm telling you, his work is everywhere in the Cravenite community right now. Please welcome my good friend, pillar of our channel, of my channel here in our community. It is Eric, otherwise known as the Bearded Entertainment.
Hey buddy.
Hey, man. Good
It's a good looking drawing you got back there, Two Boys.
Yeah,
I just noticed it sitting back there.
Yeah, I had when I had that, I had to put that up. You know what I mean? It's something I can admire all the time.
I'm glad you like it.
It's awesome.
No, I gotta say, hands down. I mean, you are extremely talented with that type of stuff. Everything you've been able to showcase on the streams has been amazing. So definitely, I appreciate anytime I get an opportunity to win something because I have places to put it. 100%.
I'm very happy you like it, and thank you for the compliments. I just like to draw and make stuff and waste time, honestly.
Well, dude, you do it well.
You do it very well, yes. And JT, another good friend of mine, I was chatting with earlier, and so was Eric from the Bearded Entertainment. JT stopping in to hit that like button and say hello to everyone. Thank you, JT. Appreciate you, buddy. We'll see you Friday morning. And also, just want to hang on a second. Okay, there we go. All right. Just want you real quick before we get into the topic, the discussion, excuse me. I would like to go ahead and acknowledge all of my patrons and my patrons, excuse me, and my channel members, because you guys really do help keep the lights on every single month and allow me to do things and elevate this channel to the best of my abilities. And I really appreciate that very, very much. No matter what level of support you give, it all matters and it all makes a difference. So just know that I greatly appreciate every single one of you. And so right now I want to put you guys in the spotlight. And so everyone, I would ask that you would just, pay attention to your screen for the next minute or so and acknowledge these folks because they're making a difference here in the channel. All right, so here we go. Appreciate you guys. Crank it up and let's let her rip. Beautiful. Thank you guys so much. And Eric's posing a great question down here on the bottom. Did you hit the like button? I love it. That's awesome. And that's a great question, guys, because we want this stream to be as successful as possible. And so if you have not yet hit that like button, do me a big favor. Just go smash it. It takes you 2 seconds, and it really does help this stream get out to more individuals who are on YouTube right now, browsing around, looking for things to watch. So much appreciated, guys. All right. Well, so let me just kind of back up for a second and kind of talk about what prompted this stream tonight or this topic. So earlier today, I received some information from one of my sources that are very close to things with Scream, let's put it that way, and definitely inside track, not like on the outside. They're looking in, they're on the inside, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But they reached out. We actually were talking today, and in the course of their discussion, they shared that as of right now, that Montreal is not in the plans for Scream 7. So that the intention right now is to not return there. And I thought this was worth talking about because we'd seen the Production Weekly publication in the last couple of weeks. I've covered it here quite a bit. And we saw how it had the Montreal location. And then this last week, they took it off. But then they put Blackbird in as a new feature film with Montreal. However, my source is saying that Montreal's not in the plans. They're not going to be there. So I thought it would be interesting to talk about. And by the way, the video is up on my stream, on my channel right now. Same title of this live stream, same thumbnail. Just doesn't say live stream. So I thought it'd be fun for us to talk about it tonight a little bit and just kind of go where things take us. And if we're not going back to Montreal, my first assumption is, and this is not a necessary conclusion, but I think it's a probable conclusion, that we're not going back to New York. Because now you could always replicate New York and other places, for sure. So I acknowledge that. However, for the sake of consistency, you would think if they were going to go that route, they would go back, replicate what they had, so that continuity is intact, and that just makes sense. So I'm going on the assumption that New York is not likely the location. Oh, I know, Chris, brother, I know, man. At Discover Montreal, I know, man. That's not the news that you wanted to hear. And listen, I wanted them to go back. Honestly, I wanted them to go back personally. I did. I thought it would be cool to continue kind of where we left off and go to the next step. But Eric, you go ahead, man. What's on your mind?
I just want to say, as soon as I saw this post, as soon as I saw you say, likely not returning to Montreal, as soon as I saw it, because it hit Reddit, as soon as I saw, literally my first thought was, oh God, Chris is going to be so upset. That was the first thing that came to my head. So I'm so sorry, man.
Yeah, I know. I feel bad for Chris. I really do, because Chris is such an amazing guy. He's a great friend. He's an ambassador. I always call him an ambassador of the city. And he was, it was amazing all that he did for the channel and for me when they were filming 6 and getting me all these pictures on the ground, and just incredible, and such good times and streams together. And but you know what? Unfortunately, what are you going to do? Now, I wish we had control over these things, but as Chris says, see, it's all about perspective. At least I got one film shot. There you go, man. That's very true.
Look at it.
That's right. Because there's very few cities can say they've had a Scream film. There's only been 6 movies. That's it. 6 cities, essentially. And that's not very much. So
and they've all been shot in different locations, right? Like, I don't think there's any place that's had it filmed there twice. So
never have.
I'm praying North Carolina is the first to break that streak, because man, if they come back, if they go back to Woodsboro, it's kind of
right.
It would, like what you're saying with them not returning to Montreal, you think it's less likely they'll do New York. If they want to go back to Woodsboro, why not go back to where they made Woodsboro? And I'm just saying.
Hey, we get cabins in snow here in Tahoe, so they can come to Tahoe and film.
That's true. If they want to rebuild Stu Macher's house again, they already know the. Yeah. I'm saying if they come down here, I'll perform what Chris did here. So
that's true. Yes, man. Well, There's another place that's really cold in the winter, lots of snow, and that's a place called Seattle, which is where Sidney Prescott resides in the Scream universe. And I don't know, man. It's and that's why I wanted us to kind of talk about, kick around ideas. Like, so I'm gonna put it like this for the chat. Start listing out some places that you would like to see it at. Where would you? Is there a city that you have in mind? Do you want it to be a fictitious Woodsboro again, or do you want it just to be like a vacation spot that could be going on, or just I want to see what you guys think in the chat, and then on the panel, let's talk about now. Eric, you've already kind of Bearded, you've already shared your desire, and I get it, man, for Wilmington. And you'd think they would, if they're going to do Woodsboro. To me, it's Wilmington or it's Santa Rosa.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Like, I don't necessarily think the in-universe has to go back to Woodsboro, but as a filming location,
right?
Being greedy, I would love for it to be here. I would love for it to be like east, southeast, something like that. Just because of the proximity to me, and like I said, that's just being greedy. But if I'm going
Right.
on where I want the end universe to be placed,
Yeah,
you know what, I'm just gonna say it, because we're mirroring 3. Go back to Hollywood.
yeah.
Do something with Hollywood, because you can make it work. There's so many stories that they could do now to make Hollywood make sense. And
Does
if we're gonna finish out this mirror of the original trilogy, let's do it that way.
well, I mentioned in my video. I mean, Eric, I'm going to get your thoughts up top too, boys. I mentioned in the video about that, and I'm like, if you're the first one again mirrored. I mean, 5 mirrored 1, 6 mirrored 2 in a lot of ways. And if we're going to continue the mirroring, like you said just now, it makes sense that you would go to a Hollywood setting, because you're going to honor that. And then think about this: how do you pay homage to Scream 3? It's not with the stab movie; it's with a what are we doing in today's world? It's true crime miniseries. It's these limited series runs on Netflix, Hulu, all of them actually have them. I mean, I was watching one earlier today. I took a little break and I was watching one of these cold case files, or whatever these shows are, these true crimes shows. I mean, that's what's going on. So I thought, if you're going to go that route, that's a really cool way to pay homage to 3, but in a new way. You know what I mean? So two boys, what do you think about that, man? If they go to Hollywood and they mirror 3, how do you feel about the true crime format versus a movie?
Well, I mean, the true crime is fine. I think it works. Obviously, I wouldn't want them to do a setting where they're in Hollywood on the setting like they did in 3. Maybe if the core 4 was actually watching a stab movie, seeing actors play them, something different. But I think it's all about timing. Like, if you look at what's going on right now, and with the Screen Actors Guild, like, they may be like looking like, say, as soon as this is done, we need to get going. Like, so we need a location that's going to be cheap, somewhere that's going to be able to put us in a situation quick, for filming. So, I mean, I don't know. It really depends on what kind of script that they have that they're really thinking about going with, that's going to open that up, because you want the snow. People were thinking about that, but yes, Seattle gets a lot of rain, but I mean, it's Hollywood. They can make things work.
Oh yeah.
Heck,
on a soundstage, for goodness sake.
Yeah. So it's definitely, like I said, it looks like they're mirroring, Scream all the way through with, to 3. So it seems fitting that they may go the Hollywood route.
Yeah. It does seem like that's that's if you just following what we've already seen James and Guy do, that's kind of the logical conclusion. If they're it would be a really big a departure if they didn't follow Scream 3 at this point. And if you're going to go back to Hollywood, then it's make it where it's modernized, but it's still paying that homage. And I certainly hope, I'll say this, guys, if they do the Scream 3 mirroring, just don't make it a half sibling. I mean, don't follow like a Debbie Salt 2.0 rather, which they did in 6. I really want it to be an unpredictable killer. Now, I don't know. Is that too much to ask? I mean, I don't know. Go ahead, Air Bearded.
What if they did the Hollywood thing, but like figuratively, like, because you know how Hollywood's not the only place where that's a big movie city now. Like Wilmington, for instance, is a pretty big movie city. Atlanta, Georgia's really big. So what if they did like a Hollywood, but it's more a Hollywood in like a different location. So, for instance, what Two Boys said with like the core four watching them make a stab movie about themselves, and it feels like Hollywood, but it's not. It's like Atlanta. Someone mentioned that, or something like that. I don't think they're actually going to go to LA. They're definitely not going to go to New York because those places are just so expensive to film in.
Exactly. That's the thing, man.
Atlanta, I think, gives good tax credits. I know Wilmington.
Well, a lot of places like The Walking Dead filmed in Atlanta, a lot.
Like a ton of the Marvel movies filmed down there as well.
Yeah.
And that's only like 3.5 hours from me. So I can still make that work too.
It works. And let's face it, I mean, you can make Hollywood anywhere. You can do that, You can dress things up. You have sound stages. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that you can do. It's Hollywood. It's movie magic, right? You do it all the time. Yeah. Hey, I hear a knock at the door. Hello. Ladies and gentlemen, we got one more guest joining the panel, which will square us up at nice 4 blocks, which I like that symmetry. Please welcome good friend of the channel. I love watching movies with this guy, man. He's a great movie watch partner and a great friend. Please welcome from Flet's Movies and Pop Culture. It is Kyle. What's up,
guys?
Man?
Doing good. How you guys doing?
Hey, buddy.
So great.
Hey.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, thank you for the invite, Steven.
You're very welcome. And Kyle, just to catch you up, right now we're talking about like where we would like to see Scream 7 filmed at. If we had a preference of a city or a setting, because I kind of I broke and shared the news earlier today that they will not be going back to Montreal per a source that I have. It's very close to things. So with Montreal off the table, we don't know where they're filming at. So we're just having that's why I thought it'd be a fun stream to talk about, where are they going? Where could they go? Those kind of things. So while you're thinking about that, and I want to get your thoughts, I want to acknowledge an anniversary. Hollywood Guy has been a member for 4 months today. Wow, that's awesome. It's been 4 months. Yay. Anyway, what would your top 3 filming locations be? I would take a tropical vibe, maybe Miami. Ooh, a little Gloria Estefan, a little Miami Sound Machine. Since I'm from Miami, okay. Well, listen, I'm just gonna say this. First of all, Hollywood Guy, thank you for your faithful membership, man. Seriously, I appreciate all your support. And as far as tropical guys, if it's me, I want to see them go really tropical. Like I'm talking, the Bahamas, or I don't know. Name your island, your favorite destination island. I would love to see him like go that route. What was that? Fiji? Jenna said.
Fiji,
I think it was.
so.
Something like that, yeah.
But if it becomes tropical, do you think kind of like I Know What You Did Last Summer? I mean, You know,
Yep.
in those lines.
I think you're right. That's what everyone's going to compare it to. It's the only problem
part
with that.
2.
Yeah.
Well, I think,
Yep.
and this is what I've said before, and I know a lot of people don't share this opinion, but my opinion on it has always been I just don't want the location to be a gimmick.
Yeah.
Like, and I've said that before. Like, if the main draw you have for the movie is now it's set in a tropical place, then you didn't make a good movie. Like, I want your movie to be so good that I'm like talking about it for hours and be like, oh yeah, also, did you notice it was set in this? Like, honestly, I want the movie to be so good that the setting doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't have to make sense why they're at the location.
Yep. That's right.
And like I know we've talked about, at least if the current timeline holds, which, if I'm being honest, I don't think it's going to hold. It would be around Christmas time, right?
Yeah. It'd be October or November, somewhere in that area.
So
Yeah.
they could do a Christmas vacation type of deal. Like they're off school
Yeah.
for the holiday vacation,
That's
holiday
right.
break. They could say,
Spring break,
say, hey, could do spring break.
Yeah.
Could do like Christmas break. Either way, there's an excuse to get away. They could always come up with an excuse to go somewhere. I don't want it to feel forced why they're in that area.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
Well, hey guys, here's something that was not forced, but it's a real pleasure to see. We've got a new Cravenite, guys, in the house. All right. The Deepest End has become a channel member. Well, Deepest End, let me just say that, first of all, thank you so much for becoming a channel member. You now are no longer just a subscriber and a viewer and a chatter here in the community with us. You, my friend, have stepped across the line and you're into the inner circle of the cult of Craven. You, my friend, are now going to enjoy custom emojis, private live streams, movie watch parties, your name in green with a wicked cool skull logo, which, by the way, changes color the longer you're a member, and all the other perks that come with the level that you joined. So thank you so much for that. It's much appreciated. And it's great to have you here. Great to have you as a member. And you got here, you did it just in time, because this is a great transition, guys. Because guess what's happening tomorrow, guys? I'm pulling it up here. Tomorrow night at 9:15 Central, we're watching Candyman from 92. I believe it was 92. And it's the original Candyman. And that is a members only watch party. You've got to be a Cravenite to get an invitation. But I hope you guys will all come tomorrow. So Brandon, you are now going to receive that invitation in the nick of time. So tomorrow night, guys, make your plans now. The stream is up on my channel. You can go there, hit the notify me button. And as we get closer to the start time, that stream will be changed from public to members only. So hope you guys will all be there for that watch party. It's going to be awesome. Hadn't seen that movie in ages. So
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's going to be like kind of a first time again for me, I think. But we really do appreciate it. And one other thing too, we got a 1 month membership anniversary for Bronson. All right, Bronson says, what kind of horror movie would you guys have liked to have seen Wes Craven make? What kind of spooky story would you guys have liked to see him tell? Hope this question makes sense to you guys. Yeah, I think it does. Like, so beyond what he's already done, Two Boys, I'll start with you and then go around. Is there any other kind of movie? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say something supernatural like Conjuring, like just to see his take on, something along those lines. Just because nowadays there's a lot of it, that's going on in the world. So just something in that supernatural realm, would be, anything he touches, has been right there. So
So true. Okay. A little supernatural. What about you, Bearded?
Well, I was trying to think about like what he hasn't done because he kind of did a lot, and I was thinking supernatural too, but I would honestly kind of put Freddy in there with the dream demons and stuff like that. The only thing I think that I can't think of because he did werewolf, he did vampire, he did, if you want to
Yeah.
consider that supernatural, he did home invasion.
Well, Wishmaster. He did the Jinn.
Oh yeah, he did Wishmaster. So I think zombie movie would be the only thing he could have to. That I don't think his filmography
Yeah.
included. So maybe a
Yeah.
zombie film, maybe like a Night of the Living Dead or something along those lines, something like that. That's the only thing I
Yeah.
can think that I haven't seen him tackle.
What was
You're right.
Shocker? What was Shocker considered like?
Sci-fi almost like
Oh yeah, that's like a sci-fi slasher.
yeah, like,
I think so.
Yeah, it is.
It's unique, man. That's a unique movie. It's different. It's
Horace.
Horace Pinker. Yeah, man. Oh yeah. Kyle, what do you think, man?
Well, I always wanted to see Wes tackle a zombie film as well, and also do a film like that's see how what he would do. His own version of an Exorcist type film would be cool. It would have been cool to see what he would have done with that.
And you guys know, I've been very vocal about this. I don't watch religious horror movies, but I will tell you this: if Wes Craven had done an Exorcist movie, dude, I would have watched that sucker. I'm sorry, I would have watched it.
Oh
and
yeah.
There's no way I wouldn't have.
you kind of have to because he's going to put a great spin on it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh
Or
yeah.
even like a trilogy, like Creep Show, like something where he's telling different stories. You know what I mean?
His own
Like an
horror anthology
anthology?
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a great idea. Awesome, great question. Love it. All right, so let me catch back up to the chat here. A little bit behind. Let's see here. I saw one. And Alex says, if Scream 7 takes place at Christmas time, there should be snowy setting, not tropical setting. Well, you would think so, but a lot of people get away from the snow in the wintertime. Yes, to get away from it. They go to tropical settings. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it'd be pretty. Oh, I was just gonna say,
go
I think
ahead.
it'd be pretty cool to see him wear a Santa hat running around on top of his hood.
Oh gosh.
Oh my gosh! See,
That'd
that's
be
one
funny.
of my things with the snowy setting because at first thought it sounds really cool, but I'm like, but Ghostface just stands out so much in the snow. Like it'd be so hard for Ghostface to hide, which I think makes
It would have to be executed properly.
the execution would be a lot more difficult. And I mean, let's not make it any more difficult than it needs to be.
Right.
How about you just get like the finale in the snow? Like you get something that builds it up, and you just get like the snow comes in towards the end.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
opposed to it. Like, if you want to do like a, I mean, honestly, this is not a good comparison, but if you wanted to do like, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, where they're trapped in a small place like that, but and they just keep getting picked off one by one. I guess that'd be the only way. And then at the end, they do end up forced out into the cold, into the snow. But does that sound too much like the what was it, Slasher? Is that the name of the TV show?
Slasher, yeah, it's got the 4 seasons. Yep.
The first season? That's kind of the first season of that show. The second half, right?
Trying to remember the first season. I saw it a long time ago. But I mean, the biggest issue, I think, that if we do the tropical island, again, it's good. The first until we see the movie, it's going to be I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Everybody in the community is still, but now once we see the movie and it's radically better, like it's dramatically better, then I still know, and I like still know. But if it comes out and Christopher Landon, who I'm so thrilled is doing this project, and he just takes it to another level, we'll forget about that comparison. We won't be talking about that anymore, you know. So, but I don't know. Now AJ brings up a good point. Says, why can't it be in Atlanta, considering Kirby was based there? And that's a
Atlanta
real good,
Film
interesting.
Office.
The Atlanta office. That's a good idea. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah.
Once again, I'm good with Atlanta. That's still pretty close to me.
There you go.
Visiting the Stanley Hotel.
Ooh.
Oh my
Ooh.
gosh.
I've been to the Stanley Hotel.
Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
man. Did you go to the one in Estes Park?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's the one that
Colorado, right?
inspired. Yeah, it's
Uh-huh.
inspired Stephen King to write The Shining. It's also where they filmed Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, nice.
What
Yeah.
a contrast.
Yeah, it really is.
Oh my gosh. And AJ had mentioned also, I thought this was really cool. I am doing well, AJ. Thank you for asking. I hope you are too, man. So the random story, I went to my storage unit, came across my Ghostface mask, had it for well over 15 years, has the authentic old age look. That's really cool. Man. Wish you had a picture of it, man. Listen, if you're able to take a picture, send it to my email or my Instagram or Twitter. DM me. I would love to see it.
You
And I
want
can
to
even
trade?
show it.
You want to trade? I'll trade you.
That's funny.
I love the
Oh.
fact right behind you two boys, there's a ghost face on that thing behind you there too.
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
in that
yeah.
blanket, whatever that.
It's like it's a tapestry, and I got it on Amazon for $13. Like it's awesome, and it's big. It's
Wow.
huge. Good material.
Is that a knife where all their faces are on? That's
Uh-huh.
cool. Okay.
It's very cool. I like that. It's an impressive background, my friend.
I
It's
appreciate it.
it passes the scream test. Not the screen test, the scream
Green.
test.
Well, in
Oh,
case you didn't know, I like horror, so I don't know. I mean, if that's a clue or not, but
Just a clue, yes.
I don't know if I like core back here. Just kidding.
GZM, what's up? Good night, people. Oh, good night to you too, man.
Nine, man.
Glad
I
you
mean,
were able to
there's
hang
a lot
out
of
for a little while.
You have a lot of things you could do. Like, I mean, like Paulo was talking about New Year's Eve. I mean, there's a lot of different angles that they can go. But I'm also wondering, like, the biggest thing is the strike, is how much
Yep.
time
Yep.
once this goes, like, are they going to be able to get the core four in there? Is Jenna Ortega going to be part of it? Or are they going to go like Scream 3 where Sydney filmed in 20 days, all her scenes? Are they going to have to be forced to make Jenna the opening kill? You know what I mean? So all these things are just because of the strike.
Yeah.
What kind of movie? Or are they going to go with maybe? I saw the other day on a video that somebody had talked about a standalone movie with Sydney. And
Yeah.
so I don't know. It's like there's a lot of things that they could do.
True. Very much. Bearded, go ahead.
Well, I mean, talking about the strikes, I don't think this is a good sign. There was some news that came out that I don't think is a good sign that the strikes are going to be over. I don't know. So it's the AMPTP, I think is the name of it. And that's the actual, it's AMPTP. So I'm sure you all know this, but when the unions negotiate, they don't negotiate with each studio. They actually negotiate with one entity, and it's the AMPTP. And that represents all the studios. Well, obviously, with these strikes going on, the AMPTP is not looking too good. Well, instead of agreeing to the demands, they just hired a crisis team to try to change the narrative because they're not looking good in the media. So they actually just hired I forget what they called it. They're hiring
like crisis management or public relations.
yeah, like a public. I forget exactly how it's called. They hired a PR firm, basically.
Yeah.
And it said in the news article, it said the goal was to try to swing it so that they don't look so bad. And my thought on this was if they wouldn't be doing that if this was going to be over soon. So at this point, it feels like the studios have said this is what you're going to get, and that's final. And then obviously SAG and WGA haven't accepted it. So I think the studio's plan now is just to wait them out. So I don't think this is going to be over anytime soon, and I think that's a kind of a hint toward it.
Well, and the thing that sucks about that, because you have like shows that are going to get canceled, and you have seasons that, like, something like Wednesday or whatever, that's going to be like, okay, we can't film anytime soon. So it's like all of a sudden season 2 has to become 2025, because of where they're at. I mean, that's the hard part too. Unless, they have been able to do, shows where they can film 12 episodes like that, boom, boom, boom. So, I mean, it's possible once it gets rolling, but like you said, I mean, it doesn't look good, especially how each and every day it seems to be going backwards instead of forward.
Well, Wednesday season 2 was supposed to come out, I think, next year.
I think so.
I think they were supposed to film now or this fall.
And they didn't even update it to have a new date. They just said indefinitely postponed. Is what they said about Wednesday season 2. That's the thing. I love the timeline that they gave for Scream 7, but what we've talked about this already. Unless these strikes are over and like within the next month, that timeline isn't going to work because the actors still have other things they got to get done when it's over before they could come back to work on Scream 7. So, if it's not over within the next month, which the signs are pointing toward it not being, Scream 7's going, I think, end or maybe early 2025.
Yeah, it could be. I could see that. I think the fall is the earliest we get it, and we could get it as late as Q1 of 25, in my mind, for the release date. I mean, but here's my thought, guys. The blessing in disguise, if you will, of the strike is that because that James and Guy, even though they're not working, their brains are not just shutting off. I suspect that this would give them more time just to consider what they've written and really make sure that's what they want to do.
Well, they could be hanging out.
Really right.
Yeah, they could be hanging out at their house, having
Exactly.
dinner and just chilling, talking. I mean, not necessarily working in a studio, but they could still be like,
"That's right.
So, what do you think about this?" Or I was reading this again, and maybe we might need to tweak it here.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, man. Like, this could be the only silver lining right now. Could be that, this actually gives them time just to chat about ideas that they've had, and maybe updating things when they start writing again, and maybe it'll make it a better film, like writing wise. And again, I've already said the Christopher Landon is the double threat. I got that from Robert Englund, how he described Wes Craven as a double threat. I love that because he is a writer director. So I still think when he gets involved, we've got a safety net for this script, if you will. I don't think that here's my thought. If he would have been involved with 6, I think some of those issues, plot points and continuity errors would have been fixed. I really do. I think that he would have changed those things. Said, no, guys, this doesn't match what we did over here. We got to fix that. And I think that's I really believe that's what's going to be like moving forward. But we'll have to wait till things get rolling. But that's my anticipation anyway. So hopefully, guys, I say all that just to say this: maybe this will get us a better written Scream movie.
Right.
Yeah.
That's all. Yeah.
I mean, because the more time that they do have to think about it up here,
Yes.
eventually tweak it on the pen and the paper, so
That's right.
I mean, they've got nothing but time right now to wait it out anyway. So
Exactly, man. I mean, it could be months before this stuff's resolved, and because you got the writers and the actors, the SAG stuff. So, it's
And
an interesting
IATSE.
time. And what's that?
IATSE, which not sure if you know
I love to
what
play
IATSE
Yahtzee.
is. Yeah, IATSE. IATSE is tradespeople in the entertainment industry. They're the ones who build sets and do props.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
So they're also on strike right now.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I didn't hear
Yeah,
that.
it was announced the Broadway when they announced Broadway was going on strike.
Yep.
IATSE is part of that, and and I only know this because at the convention I went to, I met a guy who builds sets. He had some nice insider knowledge about the upcoming Exorcist movie, as well as when he went to build the Exorcist sets and stuff, they tore down the Halloween Inn sets. So he had some cool stuff. Like he actually had the table that Michael Myers was killed on.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh,
so
that's cool.
he had a lot of cool stuff. He actually did a class like breaking into the entertainment industry at the convention. He was a really nice guy. But yeah, so they're on strike as well. So you've got the performers, you've got the writers, and you've got some of the tradespeople who, like I said, they handle props, they handle set like production stuff. So you got a lot. Pretty much right now, the only people that aren't on strike are producers and directors.
Directors, yeah, that's it.
Well, there's independent people, right? There's independent production companies that can put out a film, right? That still has that ability to do that. Because I know there are some films out there that are still rolling because of those type of companies.
A24 is still making films. Like Jenna's making one right now with A24. It's the Unicorn movie.
Okay.
Forgot the name of it. But she's working on one now. It's currently in filming process because it's A24, so they were able to complete the movie. So she's actually working right now.
Yeah. And A24 agreed to all the demands, so they allowed them to keep filming. And Two Boys, you are right. According to the SAG guidelines, there are still certain independent small projects that actors can work on. That is true. However, if anyone crosses the picket line to like work on a big project, obviously that looks very, very bad against them. And in terms of like writers working, because there's also actors who aren't part of the union. So technically, they can still work, but the unions have made it very clear that if you ever want to be part of the union, you can't do that. So same thing with writing. I think they call them scabs. That's I think that's the derogatory term for them. People who do it anyways, scabs. Yeah. So technically, they could be working on it right now. They could with those people. However, they're not going to do that.
Right. Now, Kyle, in Canada, it's interesting because I know that there's different unions there, right? And
they're striking some of them.
Are they? Can you give us an update on what you know of from the Canada side?
There's some unions, I think Vancouver, BC somewhere, or Alberta are striking. They're coming together striking. But there are certain workarounds, especially in Toronto, you can still do a little bit.
Okay.
These are the rules. Because I know Dave McRae and Bruce, who were working on It's Me Billy 2,
Yeah.
to stop because they got Livia Hussey in, but they're also prepping to see if they can work around it. But there is some strikes going on down here too for union and for filming.
Okay.
So
Wow.
There's also some going on in Ireland because they have
Yeah.
a different union as well. There was some announcements that they're striking as well. So this is, I mean, this is getting to be
it's
worldwide at this
worldwide,
point.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, we will see, guys. We don't know. Here's the good news. Even though we don't know when, we know we are getting Scream 7. All right, it's happening, and we know who's on. We know Christopher Landon is at the helm of it. We got that much solidified, and now we've learned. I found out today from my source telling me they're not going to Montreal, so we can take that off the plate for now, and they'll be filming somewhere else. Which it's kind of exciting. I mean, look, I wish it was going to Montreal. Said that earlier. I still do. But now that I know it's not, you have to readjust. You got to reset, and now it becomes a guessing game of where they're going to go, and that's kind of fun. In the meantime, to talk about it and think about it, and where we would like it to see it go.
And Montreal was
Yeah.
made to turn into New York. So, like Eric
True.
said, like Atlanta, Georgia. I mean, you can use those studios
You
to
could,
turn
yeah.
it into something else.
Mhm. That's
So, I
right.
mean,
Oh, that's right. We do have a filmmaker in the chat right now.
Yeah, we do.
Fate
Yeah, my
decided.
good buddy
oh,
from the Lethal Collective. What are you doing? Fate Decided is here. What's up, dude? That's
By
right.
the
In the
way,
meantime, Fate is making movies with Killjoy Jake and Project Periscope. So you guys make sure you check it out. And oh yeah, go ahead, Eric. I know you've been.
by the way, Fate. I since I've moved and I went to my storage unit, I have your Stu TV head Funko Pop.
There it is.
It's gonna be autographed by Matthew before I send it to you. But I have it. I found him.
That's great, man.
Where'd you
That's
get that
right,
Funko
Fate.
Pop from?
that is
What do you
flipping
think?
awesome.
I designed it and made it.
Oh, you made it. That's cool then.
Yeah, it's 3D
Wow.
printed.
That is sweet.
Like I keep saying, you got talented, my friend.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I most of my decorations, I like the mask and the beginnings of a Freddy glove. I printed those as well.
What was the
How
first
long?
one?
How long on average does it take for something to finish, like a project for you?
Do you mean like just painting or like?
Well, just like when you're printing it, so that, like, for example, that stew and the TV thing, like, what is that turnaround? Like, is it like something like 3 weeks? I mean, like,
Oh no! If I'm going like the printing itself, the printing on like this Jason mask, I think that was about 24 hours of printing, and probably in total of working on it about 3 hours. I mean, there's more time waiting for paint to dry, but other than that, man, I can usually if I got nothing else going on and I'm working around the clock, I could get something done pretty quick. The Stu Funko Pop was probably about 2 days.
okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the
awesome.
first one you ever done for 3D printing?
The first 3D, it was a Batarang, the Batman, the Michael Keaton one though. Like
okay.
the first, I remember it was the first 3D printer I ever had. It was really cool. I was so impressed with it. And looking at it now, it was not a very good one, but yeah, it was just a classic bat symbol that had the sharp edges so you could throw it.
Is there
Nice.
one that you've really enjoyed since you've made it, and you're like, man, I really like. I'm glad that I did this one. Like, is there, because you do a lot of great ones. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that you do, but is there one that kind of stands out for you? Is it the mask?
Honestly, it's the glove, and it's
Okay.
not even finished yet. But like, this is just like a little Freddy glove that it's like the workings of a Freddy glove essentially that I just printed out the other day because I got bored, and the design of it makes it so that like things can move really well, and it's just really fun. So yeah, Just
Nice.
that, like, it's so much fun to have and do, and the fact that this only took like 3 hours, and then it just like pops together. Like the only glue on the whole thing is holding the blades on. Other
Wow.
than that, all just like friction fit.
Nice.
Awesome.
Well, guys, real quick, I want to put the link to Project Periscope, which is the company name that that Fate and Killjoy Jake are going under for their original films. And here's the link. If you guys have not subscribed yet, and there's a good chance you haven't yet because it's really new. There's the link. Go smash the link, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. They're already at 175 subs, so let's get them on up. And let's get be sure you're watching the movies, man. First one's coming out very soon. I believe it might even be this
right?
Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Friday.
this Friday, the 1st. So you're very welcome, Fate. Absolutely, man. Glad to help out, buddy.
Fate, I got a script for you. I got a short script for you. If y'all need, I know you got ideas already, probably, but from what I understand, the goal was one a month. So I think you're constantly going to need new ideas. I've got a script for you if you want to look over it. I'd love to help out with one.
I don't think Eric sleeps. I really don't.
I don't either.
A bearded that doesn't sleep.
Yes, I don't either.
It's very rarely that I do. And if I do, it's for a very short time.
Hey, Brett, James Bishop, what's up, my man? Good evening to you, my friend. So we're up to 179 subs. That's great. Let's get it up, guys. Let's all go over there and sub. Let's get it to 200 tonight. That would be awesome. So there you go, Fate. This Friday's Artificial, and then one movie a month. Every month, you'll get a new horror movie. So there you go. Can't wait. Great stuff. So go subscribe, guys. Don't miss out on what's going on. And that's within our own community with Fade and Jake. That's part of the family, man. They're part of the family. So let's support them and be sure you watch the video or the movie on Friday and leave a comment. Do all the stuff you normally do so we can help them be successful and hit the ground running. It's awesome.
And if you haven't watched Jake's Red Right Hand Scream fan film, go watch that.
Oh,
yeah, buddy.
You got to. It's so good.
It really is. I'm thinking about that one scene. I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah,
I think you guys know.
The one out in the woods.
Yes. Wow.
My favorite scene is that short parody of American Psycho. Man.
Oh, yes.
When that came on, I absolutely lost it. Like, I was laughing so hard because I'm like, oh my God, this dude is using Limp Bizkit for American Psycho right now. And I just could not handle it.
No, I couldn't either. And of course, the minute he started the monologue, I knew exactly this is Patrick Bateman. This is
yeah.
It's like so good. So Brett James Bishop, I'll just say this out loud while we're live. I don't care. I'll do it. If you want to hop in, bro, you have an invitation to hop in. I don't know. You may not want to get on camera and do all that. That's fine. But come on, man. We'd love to have you, Brett. Join us for some Scream 7 talk here tonight, if you're up for it. All right.
See, can I say something really quick?
Sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Fate, you said you appreciated it. I'm going to be honest, it's also a little selfish on my part because here's the thing. I've wanted to make this. I wrote it like a year ago and I've wanted to make it, but I've been moving around and now I'm settled, but I don't know anyone here. So I can't make the short film. So I'm like, you two have a good area and I could just drive up there and like hang out. And I don't even know if y'all are actually close or working remotely together on it, but
remotely.
Yeah, I just like I don't know anyone in my area, so I'm like, y'all could read the script if you like it. If it's something you'd want to do, cool. I can come up, help out. I can get y'all some drone shots on your other films and stuff.
There you go.
Let me know.
You guys should hook up offline, man, and chat about it more. You really should. It's awesome. There's a lot of talent here in the community, man.
I
And
definitely know filmmaking as well because I've done a lot of film class and drama years ago, and I wrote a screenplay 10 years ago, and I still have to find it somewhere.
Nice.
Yeah.
With all the talent in the community, we should make a Scream movie.
right?
100%.
Totally should. It'd be pretty darn impressive, I think, if we put our heads together and talents together.
It would be a lot more shocking, I think, than like the Scream movies that have recent ones that have come to theaters. I think it would be a lot more out there.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, yeah. And murder mystery up the wazoo. You're not going to figure out who did it. Promise you that.
Exactly.
Definitely not.
It will be a shocking reveal. It's going to be Jill Roberts. It's going to be Stu Macher,
Angelina Tyler,
All of them.
It's going to be
Charlie
all that,
Walker's back.
You never
Everyone.
know.
Hey now.
Perry's got a question. Says, Craven, what's your favorite Scream movie? Well, my favorite Scream movie is Scream 1. It is. I think it will. It's my favorite movie in general, not even just Scream. That's what I remember. In any genre, is Scream. So it's going to be permanently there. But it's for me, and a lot of people have Scream 1. Some have other films, and I think that's really cool. Like Jen Warner has Scream 3 as her favorite, and I think that's really cool. So everyone's got their own personal preferences and things that speak to them in these movies. But let's go around the panel. Is everyone Scream, or is it a sequel? Two boys, I'll start with you.
Well, I mean, you can't argue that opening. I mean, when you first watch that, and you're just like, wow, like you're just sucked in,
Yeah.
And when you see a lot of horror movies, I mean, sure you got like Jaws, and you got a few that just have that suspense, but the opening for Scream just really sells, the love for that movie, like, because you just can't wait to see how it plays out. And yeah, I mean, Scream 1 is definitely right there for me.
Understood. Bearded, how about you, man? Is Scream 1 your favorite Scream?
Yeah, Scream 1 is my favorite Scream. I don't believe, I'm open to it if it happens, but I don't believe anything will ever top. Any sequel will ever come above 1.
No. Wes Craven brought a baseball bat and just tore it up.
Oh, yeah.
I never will forget the quote he said about, like a kid came up to him at a convention or a con, I don't know, somewhere like that. And we're like, I can't wait for you to make another Kick blank movie, Kick A movie again, or something like that. And he's like, you know what? Because he had turned Scream down 3 or 4 times. The Weinsteins were trying to get him to agree, and he kept saying no. And when he met that kid, I think they were a teenager, and they said that to him, and he said, you know what? He's like, they're right. And he called the Weinsteins and says, I'm in. And the rest is freaking history. My gosh, what man, he did not hold back at all in that movie. And we had to see the darn censored version. The director's cut was even grittier.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I watched. I think I found the interview. You've got some, or I was watching an interview where he was talking about it.
Yeah.
He was talking about how terrible the MPA was against that movie and all that. And it's the only time I've heard anyone speak positively about the Weinsteins. But he was talking about how Harvey, he's like, it kept getting an X rating, and he's like, and Harvey called him and it was like, listen, we're making fun of it. Like, it's a comic. Like, they're making fun of it. And he goes, and the next day we got an R rating. We just had to cut apparently the rule was you couldn't see flowing blood. And that's why they had to cut away from Stu's hand.
That's right.
So,
and that big pool of blood right in there too.
They had to cut that out, which is right by Neil Prescott. They had to cut out the scene where Kenny gets slit.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Eric, you go ahead. If you want to tell people about it, you can. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, Kenny, when he got slit, that scene was in there as well. So
That's right.
And you think like, I mean, now it's like those would have been awesome to have, in today's scenes. No problem. Like we can handle that. And you
Oh
look at what
yeah.
they talked about, and you're like, really? Like, come on.
I know.
You look at movies like
Hey Jamie.
Craven, this is your channel, so I'm not going to say the title of it, but it stars Johnny Knoxville and Steve O and Wee Man.
Yeah.
Did you? I don't know if any of y'all saw the most recent one of those movies.
I tried. I had to turn it off. I couldn't do it.
That still got an R rating. Could you imagine what and the director of that, he literally says, this is my plan. He's like, we make the absolute worst stuff that we know will never make it into the movie, and we send that to the MPA, and then they complain, and we're like, okay, well, what if we take this stuff out that they knew would never make it anyways, and then they still get what they actually wanted.
What she wanted, yeah.
And I'm just thinking, like, what if Wes Craven had like, knowing that, he just put like a decapitation or something in part 1 and showed that,
right?
And then it was like, okay, well, what if we just take out this, and then they got an R? Could you?
Yeah.
But the one thing I will say, and I don't know if y'all agree with me or not, but even without those things, I think Scream is a perfect movie.
Oh,
100%.
Even without the Stu's hand or
right.
It's a perfect movie.
Because it wasn't about the violence to Wes. It was about that story and those characters, and that opening. I got history with Scream. That opening just hit you. That the way Kevin wrote that script. It was. I'm like, starts off as a normal evening. She gets a phone call, normal conversation, and then it just changes that dark tone. Like, whoa! Especially like, I like to know who I'm talking to. That's not what you said. What do you think I said? And then I love how Roger L. Jackson changes his when he says, "Don't hang up on me," and then
buddy.
I was like, wow, that opening,
so powerful, man.
Yeah.
Deepest Sin, Scream was a textbook example of the authority which a real master can employ when allowed. I think the only person on earth who can make a Scream that matches Wes Craven would be Carpenter, likely. I mean, maybe, I still think they're very different filmmakers. It would have been a different Scream, in my opinion. Not saying it would be bad, but I think that their styles are very different. I don't watch, like when I watch a John Carpenter movie, I'm like, dude, that's really good. But nothing about that makes me feel like I'm watching a Wes Craven movie, and vice versa. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel they're masters of their own way of doing things. And
that's what.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying that's what sets them apart. You can tell the difference between Craven and Carpenter. Because Carpenter has his own tone and his style.
That's right.
And I'm like, okay, this is a Wes Craven film. Especially with the fog, I'm like, yeah, that's Carpenter. And there's scores too, especially he does his own music.
But Craven had so much attachment to his film, so much passion for them.
Way more passion.
Carpenter, like he made Halloween and he did it well, but it was kind of like he was ready to wash his hands of it. Like, I mean,
Well, he even says now, like anytime someone wants to do another Halloween, he's like, I just show up and get a paycheck.
Yeah.
And,
like I don't think you'd ever see Wes Craven do that if it's what it is.
Oh no.
And Craven was proud of all his work.
Exactly.
He was. I mean, I honestly believe like Wes did these movies he did because he felt he wanted to make those movies, right? I really I bet you, and again, I don't know this, like I can't quantify this, but I just have a hunch that you can imagine the number of pitches that Wes received from studios through his career. I imagine he turned down so many movies. I mean, like I say, he turned Scream down 4 times. The guy, he probably turned so many movies down because he could have got a paycheck and done it, but he didn't. He wanted the film to make the movies he wanted to make. And when he got the right, whether he wrote it or if he was given a script, it had to be the film he wanted to make.
It was his terms.
So it was his terms. Yeah, that's right.
And
that's another thing I really respect about Quentin Tarantino. Like Quentin Tarantino's, he's like he doesn't even take movies that he doesn't write. He's done one movie where it was a previously existing IP. Other than that, he only makes movies that he writes, and they're only the movies he wants to make. So that's something I think they have in common, and that I respect about them.
Sure.
And West would have been outliving Carpenter in directing, because by the time Carpenter retired, Craven was still directing. He would have been doing it, and Carpenter would have just been retired. So
Yeah. Dude, Wes had already contracted 3 projects the year he passed away. He was up until literally he couldn't work anymore. He already was under contract. He was still writing up to the day he passed away. I mean, he just that's who he was, man. He was going to write until he could not write it anymore.
And it would have been interesting to see him do 5. Like to have him be around and see his take on having those characters and everything like that. So
that's right. Hey, Sarah, I just want to say hi to Sarah, our good friend, jumping in. I know you're double booked, but you know what? That's dedication. Thank you from jumping from Zach Cherry's channel to mine. And I appreciate you being here, Sarah. I can't wait to talk to you about your stream later on. Glad you're here. Eric, you had your hand up. You want to comment on that as well?
Oh, no, I'm waving to Sarah. I'm waving.
Oh, okay.
Okay. This is actually a story I was doing a lot of research on interviews, people talking about Wes Craven, because I'm actually making a video that's I'm really proud of it so far. But and there's a story about Wes that I'd never heard. And it's he's a younger filmmaker, and this was years ago. But have you ever? It's a guy who's making an indie film and just happened to run into Wes Craven when he was going into his production office. Have you ever heard that?
I'll have to hear more. I don't know that off the top of my head.
Okay. So essentially this guy, he's a very young filmmaker. I think they're in LA. He's making an indie film, and he's literally borrowing someone else's office to use as a production office. He's like, I get there and I park, and next door there's this really fancy building, and there's a party going on, and it's like in the car next to me is Wes Craven. And he's like, he's like, I'm sitting there, and he's like, I'm not gonna get out until he gets out, just so I can say hi. He's like, so I wait for however long, feels like forever. We get out, he gets out. I say hi. I let him know how much like his work influenced me. Tell him I'm working on a short film. I'm working on getting funding for it now. And he's like, oh, great, nice to meet you. And he goes his way. I go over to my production office. I come back out like 5 minutes later, and Wes Craven is walking over with 2 beers. He's like, he sits with me, and we have a beer, and he just wants to talk to me about my movie. And when it's done, he goes to shake my hand, and he gave, I think he said like $1,000 toward funding this kid's movie.
Wow.
And said good luck with it, and just walked off.
Nice.
And man, I have not heard that, dude. That's amazing.
I'll send you the clip. And I mean, the guy's he uses a little bit more profanity because he's just so excited about it.
Sure.
But I'm like, that's an established director, like writer director at that point, just like, hey, tell me about the movie you're making. I have no clue who you are, but I hope it goes well for you, and helping him fund his movie.
Yeah. And not everyone would do that.
Oh gosh,
most people wouldn't. I would wager most wouldn't.
Yeah,
I think you're right. Yeah,
they just say good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, exactly. And that'd be
nice
on your
to
way.
meet you.
Right.
Or even not even take the beer. I mean, they, just taking the beer over is pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's right.
Shows how good of a person he was on top of all the
talent and stuff.
Talent he has.
Yeah. Well, hey, I just mentioned real quick, Sarah Campbell, not only did she come in to the stream, she has gifted 2 memberships to the channel. Thank you, Sarah. That is so awesome. So Nola and Caden are now full-blown Cravenites. That is so awesome. Sarah, thank you for your generosity. You know how much I appreciate it. And welcome to the team, guys. Nola and Caden, welcome to the Inner Circle. And you're going to get to watch Candyman tomorrow night if you are available at 9:15 Central. That's so cool. Now Brett's sharing a story. He said, "My first exposure to Scream was on VHS, and my older brother saying, 'Let's just watch this first scene.' We did. I was traumatized, and when it was over, he said, 'Okay, we'll watch the rest after school.'" That's awesome, Brett. That's so great. We all have a story, I'm sure, on Scream 1. I remember when I saw it the first time, vividly, in the theater. Kyle, I'll start with you and go reverse order. Do you remember where you were? Did it make an impact enough that you remember, like today, where you were the first
Yeah,
time you saw it?
yes, I definitely do.
That's so cool, man.
It was in my I was staying over at my cousin's house, and my auntie is a huge horror fan as well. I could thank her for showing me these horror films, because it was 2000. It was after 2000 when Scream 3 already released,
Yeah.
and I was looking on the horror shelf, and I seen all 3 Scream on VHS. So I was like, "Can I watch this one?" I'm like, didn't care, so we watched Scream, and it blew me away. It's one of the reasons why I love this genre. I love the slasher genre.
Yeah.
Hey, and every scene just blew me away. It just kept me hooked. I wasn't scared of anything. It was just like just kept me engaged. It was just like, whoa, just shocked, and it has a big impact on me, and that's why
Yeah.
that's why when I was old enough, like really old enough to pick my own costume, I went as Ghostface.
Nice.
So I do have
That's
memories
cool.
of Scream. Yeah.
That's cool. Bearded, how about you, man? Do you recall where you saw it the first time and all?
I do know where I saw it the first time, and it's actually where I saw a lot of horror movies for the first time. It was at my cousin's house.
Mhm.
Because I was actually raised by my grandmother and grandfather, and on the same property right next door was my aunt, and then her, my 2 cousins, and
Yeah.
didn't really watch those kind of things in my grandparents' house where I was raised, but they did. So I first time I ever watched Nightmare, first time I watched Friday, Halloween, and Scream as well was all over at their house. I don't remember when I watched it for the first time, but it was I was probably around 10. I want to say I was around 10. Might have been a
Wow.
little young for it maybe, but
Right.
yeah, it was over at their house.
That's
It
cool.
was I remember not finding it as scary initially,
Uh-huh.
but it was the mystery part of it.
Yeah.
Just I could not look away. Like, okay, who
Yeah.
is it? Who's doing? Oh my! And like I'm not gonna say everyone, but like most people, I was like, oh my god, Billy's dead. I guess it's not Billy.
Exactly.
Who else could it be?
Bam.
Man,
Yes.
when he says, when he turns and delivers that
Mhm.
that we all go a little mad sometimes, I'm like, oh my god, it is Billy.
But not just Billy, which is the next twist.
That's the thing. Oh, dude, I was like,
I thought Stu was gonna help her, and then he does that.
Yeah.
Surprise, Sydney. I was like,
That's
what?
right. Yes.
There's 2 of
Sydney
them.
even says, "Stu, please help me, Stu." When nope. And he brings up that voice changer. I'm like, oh my gosh. It was stunning to me.
Sarah, is this when you were still playing Batman, like trick or treating as Batman? I've seen that photo.
I have too. It's so cute.
She was a Batman. She was a cute Batman.
She was.
Was it around that time? Because that is
That's
too
awesome.
young.
Yeah, that would. Yeah. And 2 boys, tell us again, or tell us your experience the first time you saw the first Scream. Do you remember?
Well, we were with a group of people, friends, and we were watching it, and we were just blown away by that opening. We played it over 3 times. So
Wow.
once it finished that opening, we're like, did you wow? And then so we played it one more time, and then we played it one more time, and then finished watching the film. So it was
That's awesome.
definitely an impact, because at that point in time, I was like, there is no opening that you would find as good as this.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely destroyed When a Stranger's Call's intro out of the water.
Yeah.
Oh
Definitely
gosh.
did. Definitely did.
Yes.
And like I
100%.
said,
seeing, I mean, as a kid, when I saw Drew Barrymore on the cover,
And I-
on the cover,
yeah.
I'm like, wait, she's dead? Like,
Yeah.
what?
What?
Yeah,
Yes.
that part, like, even as a kid, I'm like, I don't understand how this is gonna work now, because she's no longer, she ain't in the union no more.
No more. That's there you go.
and do you think if
I love that line, dude.
if she would have took on the role of Sydney, like how that would have changed down the road? Like, I mean, if she would have been able to get
Oh.
Sydney's role, how that would have changed things.
Oh, I think a lot, man. And it's so hard because I can't picture Sydney not being Nev Campbell.
Right.
Like
Oh, I can't either.
I can't. Dude, I mean, what an amazing performance she gave, and being so young. I mean, she was what, 22, 23 at the oldest at the time. When she, I mean, that's not like 15, but that's still, she was a young actress. She'd done some work. Party 5 was her biggest thing.
The Craft.
And she did The Craft. But I mean, this was really her big time spotlight role. And I mean, what I love about Nev and all of the Scream movies that she portrays Sydney, but the emotion she shows you, the vulnerability is believable. And look, I don't like to go back and dig up old bones and dead horses. But when you compare, and again, she got better. So let me put this up front. She got better in 6. But if you go back to Scream 5 and you see Melissa Barrera attempting to be showing vulnerability and emotion in the hospital room with Tara, I mean, it looks forced. It's not, I didn't believe her. I didn't buy it. It took me out of the scene. And then I look at Tara over there, Jenna. I bought it. I believed her emotions that she was feeling. You think about that, right? And then, but think about Sydney or Nev rather. There was never a moment when you saw her break down that, for me at least, I never didn't believe it. Like, I really believe she felt what she was portraying.
Especially when when Ghostface, when she gets home from school and Ghostface says, "You just die just like your mother," and
Your mother.
the way her voice, the
Oh.
way her face changes for that scene, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's really sold me as Sydney then. I'm like, yeah, wow.
Mhm. That's right.
And I mean,
Fantastic.
each film, she just kept owning it more and more,
She
and
did.
Especially with Derek in the second one, when she
Yeah.
has to try to get him off there and crying there.
Oh yeah.
Very emotional.
Well, and look at Scream 3 when she's really when I thought Wes did such a good job, and I say Wes because Kevin Williamson didn't write the Scream 3 that we have, and that was Aaron Kruger who gets the credit, but Wes was, the way I understand it, he was taking Aaron's script notes, writing over them, changing them, marking them up. He was just as much a writer on 3 as Aaron was, just uncredited. But they chose to really demonstrate, and when I thought this authenticity again, the natural progression of Sydney's trauma. And you see the effects of the first 2 events, or the films. You see it in 3 where she's isolated. She's having these nightmares. And there's a scene which was in that darn assembly cut that I love, and I'm so thankful I was able to grab that before they took it down. But when she's in the house and she's so, her PTSD is so bad that she's trying to pour dog food into her dog's bowl, and she drops the dog food sack, and the dog food goes everywhere, and she like yells at the dog like, "Get back!" Whatever the dog's name was, and then she like takes a breath. She kneels down to start picking up the dog food, and her hands are shaking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so powerful, man. I was like, oh my gosh. And it felt so real. And that was smart on Wes's part. Because you know how many movies you see where these actors and actresses go through these horrible events. And they're like, just like, oh, I'm happy, I'm good.
You mean
Every
like
movie.
Mindy?
like Mindy. Thank you very much. That is so not real. It drives me nuts. But
Yeah,
when I look at Scream 3, Sydney, that was an accurate depiction of her arc. That's the trauma effects. And I just thought it was brilliant writing. I really do. I think Wes, I credit Wes for that.
that's
You know.
definitely very believable because it shows you how a person would handle that in real life. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That was a real life
he was
situation.
writing for his character. I mean, like he knew with having
Yeah.
that relationship with Sydney, Nev, it helped. And I think sometimes with Melissa, like I don't know, part of me wants to say that maybe they didn't know who was going to be that lead in some ways because it was like, okay, is it going to be Jenna or is it going to be Melissa? Do we write them? And then the 6, they write it a little bit better. She kind of portrays and owns it a little bit better. She kind of takes it on the mantle, so it kind of leads into that. But, definitely, like I said, with Nev, she has created some big shoes, for this franchise.
Yeah. Big time. And I give
Oh,
Melissa the credit for 6. I think she did a much, much better job. I was the first one to come on because I had been real critical of her, you guys know, for a long time. And after I watched 6, I came in immediately and said, you know what, guys? She did it. She pulled it off. I thought her performance was very authentic in 6. And listen, I believe the writers were listening to us as a fandom. They heard the critiques and the frustrations with the character, I believe. And I like to think that that they took that and they made the changes. Kyle, you were going to say something about Melissa, right? In 6?
oh no, it was a Sydney line, but
Oh
but
yeah.
since you're talking about Melissa, I did love her. She was definitely better than 5, but
Yeah.
definitely for especially for the ending. I was just gonna say about Sydney. I do love her line in Scream 3 when she says, they can't kill if they can't. Well, they can't kill. Can't kill if they can't find." Or that line.
That's right.
Wherever, how she
Yeah,
says
Father
it.
says
but
it's like you don't exist.
It's like you don't
exist.
exist.
Yeah.
And killers can't kill what doesn't
Yeah.
what
They
doesn't
can't
exist or
find.
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's such a good line.
Yeah.
It really is.
And Sydney, that's why anytime anyone ever brings up a remake of Scream sometime down the future, I'm like, no.
Yeah. Yes. Please don't.
Just let. If you can't come up with something new, then let Scream be. Just let it be.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want a second timeline. I don't want this to be I don't want a remake timeline and a sequel timeline and
Oh, heck
Right.
no.
no. Just if you can't come up with something to continue the story, then just leave it alone.
Leave
We don't
her
need a
alone.
Halloween treatment, man. You leave her alone. We don't need a Halloween situation where we've got 3 or 4 timelines, depending how you look at it.
I think
You
there's
know,
5 now.
Is it 5? I see. There you go. Maybe more.
Well,
So,
there's 1, 2 through the. There's 1 through 5. Then there's 1.
2 and
1
H2O.
H2O.
Yeah.
And then Resurrection. Then there's the Rob Zombie timeline. Then there's technically if you want to count Season of the Witch. And then there's 1 H40 and kills ends. I think that's 5.
1 to
you're
6.
right.
1 to 6. Was
1 to 6 is a timeline.
Oh yeah.
1 to H2O, Resurrection is a timeline. Rob Zombie's a timeline. Season of the Witch would be a timeline, and then 1 H40 kills and ends is a timeline. So that's 5. Yeah, it's too much.
Crazy. Too much.
Yeah, it's too much. Let's
Don't do that with Scream. Just leave it alone.
Leave
her alone. Come on.
Leave her alone.
Leave her alone.
It's a joke.
It's a joke.
It's a joke. Ow, it's a joke.
That's how he autographs his photos.
When Wes was alive, it would have been cool to see him do a Scream film like Wes Craven's New Nightmare, that type of way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I've heard that. The only thing is I don't want it to interrupt.
Of course.
The current flow of the movies, because it's when you watch that with the Nightmare franchise, it makes sense. Like it's so cool because Freddy's a demon, like or
Mhm.
a figure. He's not like a normal,
Yeah.
an actual person. But Ghostface is always a person,
Yeah.
like a real person. So it would just be. I don't know if it would. I feel like it'd be too odd for Scream.
But I'm sure he could figure out a way. Like, I mean, Wes would,
I do too,
fit on
man.
He probably he definitely could have, but
Yeah.
the best one I've heard so far, and I forget. I think it was Destin who said it, but like if they were to do like a New Nightmare version of Scream, but it was at like a convention where they're all together,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
like signing autographs or something like that.
Mhm.
You know what? That could be cool. Then like they lock down the hotel, so that could, I guess that could work.
You see, you lock the hotel down so no one can leave. So now you've got the closed in scenario that I love. You know the killer's in the building, and literally they're picking off members of the franchise in their hotel rooms, in different places, in the hotel. I mean, it could be an entertaining movie. I really think that would be fun.
And you got a lot of red herrings, just like Six
Yes.
had, because people come to conventions dressed as everything. So
That's right.
there'd be Ghostface people running around all over.
That'd be pretty cool.
You don't know which one's the real
Yeah.
one. That'd be just so suspenseful.
The thing about it is you could have unlimited different types of weapons, though, because there's also you're gonna have machetes for Jason. You'd have a Freddy
Holy.
glove. Like, could you see Ghostface like picking up a Freddy glove and just slashing someone? I mean, I think that'd be pretty cool. But
Chasing someone with a long machete.
dude,
That's wait, that's not a buck 120. Sue me. Oh,
who gives a
gosh.
bleep about buck 120?
Who gives a yeah, that's right. Oh my gosh. Well, here's something that I do give a what about. It's some upcoming watch parties, and I want to share these with all of you right now. This is a busy week. So coming up tomorrow night, I've already mentioned it, for members only. You have to be a channel member. But here's the good news. You can join on the stream right now by clicking the join button. It's right next to subscribe. And join us for Candyman tomorrow night, 9:15. But wait, there's more. On Wednesday, on the 30th of August, which is actually the day that Wes passed away, we're going to be watching his movie that he did with Eddie Murphy, A Vampire in Brooklyn, at 6 p.m. It's going to be an early evening movie watch on Wednesday. And we're not done yet. On Friday morning, we're going to watch Wes Craven's amazing thriller, Red Eye, on Friday morning at 10 a.m. Central here on the channel. Now, Red Eye and Vampire in Brooklyn are public watch parties. You don't have to be a member to join those. You can come on in. The only one that's a members party is the Candyman movie. And then there's something really cool happening on Saturday, guys. And it is, Eric, what is it? I'm sorry. I hate this, messing up everybody's names. Bearded. What is it, Bearded?
It's the 2-year anniversary party for your channel.
Yes, guys. This is insane. The channel's actual 2-year birthday is the 4th, but I wanted to do it on Saturday for more people to attend. So we're celebrating it on the 2nd. 2 years, guys.
Wow.
This channel, I just can't believe it. It doesn't feel like 2 years. It seriously doesn't. And I'm just so grateful. And I'm already starting to get emotional, so I'm going to shut it down. I'll save it for Saturday because it's a very emotional thing for me. So I hope you guys will all plan to be here. And I'll try to get a link in the chat here in a second, because the link is, the stream, is already set up. And all you got to do is click it, hit the notify me button, and smash that thumbs up button while you're there, if you would. I like to get as much momentum on the front end as I can for that stream. And there's a couple more real quick. Bear with me, because these are important announcements that I want to share. Also, coming up on the 6th of September, I have a stunt royalty, guys. Chuck Borden is here. He has worked on so many projects over the last 30 years. I can't even, if you go to his IMDb, your head will explode. He did stunt work in Scream 3, which I cannot wait to discuss. Bless you.
Wow.
I
Thank you.
cannot wait to discuss that. And he was the stunt coordinator on Doctor Sleep.
Wow.
So we're going to talk about that movie as well, and a lot of other movies. I just put these two up there in the thumbnail, but so much more we're going to talk about. And then finally, rounding out early September, man, I can't believe I even can say this. On September 11th at 7 p.m. Central, the director of Scream 7, Christopher Landon, on the channel. He's director and writer of Happy Death Day 2, and Freaky. He wrote Disturbia. He wrote three of the Paranormal Activities, and much more, guys. He will be here for 1 full hour on the channel, so that we're going to be chatting about all of his prior work. Scream is unfortunately off the table, but it makes sense. It's under lock and key. So we'll not be discussing Scream, but we will be chatting about his other films. And what I think is interesting, guys, and what I'm excited about is as I begin to talk with him about these other movies that I really enjoy. And by the way, I'm going to have a couple of watch parties over the next 2 weeks, Happy Death Day and Freaky. But I think by asking the right questions, and I'm so excited, we're going to get insight into his mindset of directing and his thinking, his style. We're going to get into how he processes writing and capturing it on screen. And all of those things will transfer to Scream 7, because we'll understand how he's going to approach the movie, even though we can't talk about it, based on his prior works. So I think it's really fascinating, and I'm very, very excited about it. So I hope you guys will be here for all of these for sure. Would love to have you guys in the chat. And we're trying to get to 100 likes on the Christopher Landon stream. And last time I looked, I'll check again now, we're actually doing pretty good considering we're 2 weeks away. We're at, where are we at right now? 61. So that's pretty good. 61. All right, guys. So those are the announcements. I just wanted to get those out now while everyone was still here. And I hope you guys will come and be a part of all these streams.
You know,
All
and
right.
Happy Death Day was quite the mystery.
Yes.
Because she had to keep getting herself killed until she figured it out. But that was
right.
such an awesome concept. And Freaky was basically, how it was basically like a horror version of Freaky Friday, which I loved. And I loved
man.
Vince Vaughn was awesome in it. And then, of course, it's got the girl from Paranormal Activity 3. So it was the same girl from that worked with Christopher already. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, man. And I'm already thinking, like, what if Jennifer Roth is our opening kill in Scream 7?
Yeah.
just like Radio Silence brought back
that's right.
Someone they're frequently working with.
She would fit well in a Scream film, pretty much.
Oh yeah, she was great, and I love her performance in those movies. And I would honestly, being a little greedy, I know there's not really any room on the cast anymore. We're so full because no one got killed, no one died in 6, so we're kind of crammed full of people. But having her for the whole movie would have been amazing. She's a great actress. But hey, look, I'll take the opening kill.
Yeah,
if that's all we can get.
Or make the opening kill a lot of people to make room for her.
There you go, Eric.
Yeah. Like kill a lot of people in the opening this time, not just one or whoever.
Just clean house right in the opening 15 minutes.
Bro,
bye-bye.
I brought it up on another one of your streams. I'm telling you, man, I'm like, just get them all. Like, have like a 20-minute opening sequence before we see the Scream.
It's one big massacre scene.
Yeah,
coming flying in.
Before the title card comes in, you kill 4 people, bro.
Woo.
Heads are gonna explode.
Oh, they will explode.
No one's seeing that coming.
It's never happened in a Scream film with multiple.
Yeah, man.
Like a big group.
Oh, I think it's just saying that it hasn't happened like a big group of kills. In the
it just hasn't happened where there was like a big group, 5 or 6 of them.
It's 2. It's like always 2, except for 5. Right.
Yeah.
She
Yeah,
survived.
Stephen
no
Worth
shit.
and Casey Becker,
Right.
and then 2 was Maureen
Maureen, Phil.
and Phil. Number 3 was
3 was
Cotton and
Christine.
Christine and Cotton. 4
4 was
was
4
girls.
is
There's 2 girls.
Jennifer Jenny and Marnie.
Yeah.
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 5 Tara was attacked, and in 6 it was
It was Tara and
guess it was,
Jason.
I guess it was 3, but
3.
Not Tara. Yeah, it was actually
Jason.
3. Yeah. Oh, 1 was off camera, so
yeah,
but-
so I don't really count that. That's why I was
Right.
saying there's 2 there. So yeah, man,
yeah.
break that.
Let's
mold
Stu
again.
bring his cult in screen at the beginning and
Yeah,
just
there you
say
go.
shred them, just tear them apart. Wow. Real quick, Justina said, I'm currently watching all your videos from before I subscribed. Y'all, thank you so much, Justina. That is awesome. Hey, leave me some comments on some of those old videos. I would love to go back and, because there's so many videos. I've got almost 780 videos now. And I know a lot of those videos I've kind of forgotten, but I'll remember when I see them. I would love to see your comment on those. I'd love to read them. It says you had a theory about Vince being Sydney and Billy's son. I did. That's such an awesome theory. I love it, and your videos. Well, thank you, Justina. I greatly appreciate you, and glad to have you here as a Cravenite. And thanks for watching those old videos. It's nice to know that even though there's some dust on some of those now, over 2 years, that there's still people blowing the dust off. So thank you. And what's up, Brigitte Scott? Welcome to the stream. Glad to have you here. All right. And Chris is asking, and I don't do this regularly, but I'm doing this because Chris is a good friend of mine. And that's why I'm putting this thing up. This says, if anyone in the States could hook me up with an aged ghost face mask from 6, I'd appreciate it. They're not available in Canada, and they're so expensive on eBay. He's available on Instagram, and there it is, guys. So if any of you have an extra one that you bought, I was talking to Michael last night at Movies and Beyond. He just debuted his. It came in the mail. So they're about $25 to purchase one of them. I want one too. So let me know.
I looked at all the Spirit Halloweens around me. None of them had them, but it wasn't that they were sold out. They just hadn't got any in.
Oh, got you.
And according to
Yeah,
hold on a
bro.
second.
I'll have to ask
So
Michael
this-
where he got his, because his was shipped to him.
Yeah, on Amazon, Fun World Ghostface aged adult costume, but I don't know if that includes the mask. Yeah, costume includes Ghostface mask, hooded robe, belt, and gloves. That's only $35, and
Wow.
that's on Amazon right now. So
And that's the real one? That's licensed Fun World, right?
yeah, it's Fun World.
Wow. Sarah says
yeah.
they have them in Nova Scotia at Spirit Halloween.
Yeah, I was about to say they're at my Spirit Halloween in my city.
Oh, well, there you
so
go.
There you go, man.
So, Chris, there you go. I don't know.
Yeah, Amazon doesn't ship to Canada, so that's the hard part.
Well, they
Yeah.
do like certain products. They just don't have. I think they have like Amazon.ca versus Amazon.com. So not all items will ship up there,
Yeah,
and some of
certain
them just
ones.
take dramatically longer. Like I know Sarah ordered the Scream board game, and it was going to be like 3 months, and I ordered it the day after her and got it in like 3 days.
Dude, I haven't ordered mine yet, but I'm gonna get it because we have. Oh, look, there you go.
Oh,
There you go, right there,
Ooh.
two boys. So here's what I want to do, guys. And I know we've talked about this on streams, but I would love to set up everyone who has that game. I want to get mine. And Eric's got his. He's like, show and tell.
got mine too. You got to have
There you
at
go.
least 3 people to play it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know where I'm going with this, right? So what I want to do is, once I get mine next month, I plan to get mine next month. I would love for us to do a panel and we play this thing virtually, even though we're not in the same room. We have to move the pieces together or however it works. You follow?
Well, see, I don't I thought about that too. I don't know if
Okay.
it'll work because you have to give each other cards. Like the
Oh,
players
okay.
have. Essentially, what it is there's like a scene card, and say that scene has like a popcorn bucket, a knife, something. You have a specific number of cards. You have to fill out your scene. So if your scene calls for 3 knives
Oh,
and you don't have 3 knives, well then you have to trade with someone else
I
to get that
got
scene. And
you.
if you don't get it done fast enough, well then yeah,
Oh,
look at those
cool.
cards. Yeah, so you got the
Oh,
popcorn bucket. But if you don't get it
Nice.
done fast enough, then Ghostface will call you. So there's an app that
Ooh.
comes along with it, right? And
Yeah.
when you log in on the app to say like, to start the game, it kind of sets up a timer. So you got to go quick, and everyone has to finish out their scenes before Ghostface gets you. Oh yeah, you get a little Ghostface figurine.
Nice, dude.
It also comes with like a knife thing, which is pretty cool. But yeah, everyone's got to finish their scene before Ghostface gets you, or you all lose. So it's
But I don't know why they didn't. I
Oh,
mean, it's kind of weird how they didn't finish the knife, but I mean, that's what you get.
okay.
Or was
Huh.
yours finished and mine's broken?
No, I think that's the way, because there's a stand for it. I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tan. So like
I'll be buying mine here soon as well.
like this because it's like
Yeah.
this, right, Eric?
Oh, it's meant to be like it's stabbed
Yeah.
into something. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then you got
yeah.
like you got your locations. You got the Mocker House
Oh wow!
and the
Yeah.
hospital, and then the other ones are the pool hall or the high school.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really cool. I know because, like I said, that was our plan too. I think
Yeah.
Marcus had shot him 6 times. Destin, myself, and a couple other people were. That was the plan because we all ordered them, jump online and play it. But it could probably still work, but it'd be a little bit more difficult. So I think the plan now is when we go to a convention where a lot of people are going to the Scarefest in Kentucky, in Lexington, going to get together there and play it.
Fun.
Yeah.
You know you could do it there. It'd be a lot less confusion than trying to do it online. There's probably a lot of trial and error and a lot of, just figuring it out. And hey, what's up, Lighting Ghost? Good to see you.
It is cool when Ghostface calls though.
Yeah.
I bet it is.
Yeah.
And Sarah, I love Sarah, man. Sarah is always so kind and generous. And Chris, there you go, man. She'll message you on Instagram about getting one if there's any left. That's so awesome. You guys are great.
If they don't, Chris or Sarah, if you can't get one anymore, if they're sold out, let me know because they're available via Amazon down here. So I can help you out. I can get you one, and then we can talk shipping after.
And it'd probably be a lot
Cool.
quicker too, I mean, to get it.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, if Sarah can get it, then yeah, it doesn't have to go through like. Would it go through customs if you're shipping it from the United States to Canada? Like, I don't even know if it would go.
I
through
don't know
anything
either,
special.
dude.
I know it costs considerably more to ship to because
It is.
I did some of the Scream when the Scream 6 stuff came to like Cinemark, the popcorn
yeah.
bucket and stuff. I had a couple people
Uh-huh.
reach out and was like, hey, if anyone could get this, and I sent all of them. Like one dude messaged me and he was on Australia. And
Oh,
he's like,
gosh.
yeah, man, we're not getting any of it. He's like, if you could get me one of everything,
Oh,
I'll pay for all of it, and I'll pay for shipping, and I'll give you some money on top of that. So I'm
wow.
like, man, I'll go back and see what they got. And I'm like, okay, so they got this cup and with the blood or without the blood, which one do you want? He goes, I want one of each. So like shipping to Australia for all that stuff was not cheap, but he's like, yeah, man, I want one. We can't get them. So the Scream has a very passionate fan base.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And even
Chris
like
said
if Canada is up there too in the shipping, but I mean there are ways around it, with some platforms, but at the same time it's like, I mean, you can't get it, so I mean it's like, you got to go with the shipping.
Yeah.
Ooh, well, real quick, I wanted to say hi to Ethan the Goat says he's going to Scarefest. I live in Lexington. Who's all going? Well, man, there you go.
Let's
Yeah.
see. Myself, Michael, Movies and Beyond,
Mhm.
Destin from Destination Station. Um, let's see. I think Val is going. Yeah,
Oh, very cool.
yeah. I think I was talking to Michael, and he said this was going to be Val's first convention. So Val over
Nice.
from Val's Views is going to be going. I believe Brandon from I Like Scary is going to be going.
Cool.
Cool.
There's a ton of people.
Is
There's a ton of
Jake
people.
going? Killjoy Jake, is he going?
I'm not certain, but it would be close to him. I think, or not too close, but not too far from him. I mean, I think it wouldn't be. I don't think it'd be that crazy of a drive, but I mean, if he is, it'd be cool. I think. I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty certain Bye Polar is going as well.
I think she is. Yep. I
So this
believe
would be
so.
cool because I haven't actually met most of these people in person, so it's gonna be really cool.
It would be a huge Cravenite meetup, is what it would be.
Oh, there's gonna be a ton of us there.
And this is when is this again, Eric?
This is October 20th through the 22nd.
And I will have some very nice, sharp-looking cards. I told you about. I still have this big announcement to make. I hadn't even made it yet. I was talking to the person that's involved with me today. And I forgot to talk about setting a date, but I will have some. I'm having to get some cards made up in mass production, so I'll get some of those shipped to you, Eric, if that's cool. I'll get them mailed out to you. And if strength in numbers, right, guys? If there's 5 or 6, 7 people handing, I don't know who all is going to be at the festival, but if you've got Matthew there or you've got Skeet or whoever.
Well, Matthew isn't going to be there, but
Okay.
I'm going to be seeing Matthew like 3 weeks later because
nice.
Monster Mania 57. But then there's going to be another one in Atlanta, like January, that has Matthew, Nev, Skeet, Jamie. So man, I'm gonna be trying as hard as I can to get something going.
Yeah, buddy. I'll tell you, that's fantastic.
And it still amazes me that I got Tatum's Sinister on my Scream Blu-ray.
Oh, dude, I just met her.
Did you?
I just met. Let's see here. That was this weekend.
Yeah, I just met her last month.
to...
That's awesome.
Where did you meet her at?
Oh, it was at the Grand Con in my city.
Okay, yeah, I just met her at. You can barely see the thing down there, but it was Mad Monster Expo, and it was like 15 minutes from my house. She was so cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm really gonna try to get her on the channel, man. She would be, I think, an interesting interview.
She has done podcasts, so
yeah. Fingers crossed. We'll see. We'll see if I have any headway, but I will definitely not be talking about the Weinsteins. I'll tell you that right now.
Definitely not.
Oh no,
that was not going to be talked about. Let me see.
Or garage doors.
Garage doors. None of that. Yeah,
I know Steven suggested me to bring a garage door to the con that one time.
I did.
Someone suggested to me too when I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, should I get a design?" And someone said, "Take a garage door." I'm like, "Come on now."
Go to Lowe's, Home Depot, grab a garage door, and just take it. But you got to have somebody put the doggy door in, though, man. It's got to be authentic.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Ethan's got a theory to share. Says Tara dies in the opening, which I've talked about that before. I think it's a real possibility. Sam kills Ghostface in the opening in one of the most awesome, I'm going to wordsmith it myself, most awesome kills ever because of the trauma of Tara. Yeah, makes sense. 2 killers in the inn, leading to a double motive of you killed our friend, plus what their original motive was. Oh, I see what you're saying. Right. Like you killed the third Ghostface of our friend, and then the motive that has them killing to begin with. Gotcha. What do you guys think about that? I've made a video even on the possibility of Tara, because of her schedule, being available for a couple of days to shoot an opening kill scene. Two boys, how would you feel about seeing Tara die in the opening? Would that shock you?
Well, at this point right now, it wouldn't necessarily shock me because of everything that's going on. But I don't know if I want that. I mean, if they can get her to shoot in 20 days all her scenes and be in the film, great. But if it's story driven, like if it's something that's going to drive the story and be a part of what that movie's going to be about, and it's necessary, because I mean, there's a lot of people that can fit under that kill section in the opening. I mean, we talked about, how they're going to come back to Woodsboro, or if they're going to, who would die in the opening that's going to bring everybody. Because does Nev Campbell, does Sydney come back for Tara? You know what I mean? Like what's going to have that draw, So, I mean, for me, if Tara was to die at this point now, I'd kind of be like, okay, it's on the table. Before, it might not be. And plus, they've already had her attacked in the opening in 5.
They have. That's right. She would
so,
be the first person attacked in the opening twice in the Scream franchise.
Yeah.
In the Scream franchise, yeah. Okay. Bearded, what say you, man, about Tara dying in the opening?
The only reason I would be on board with this because it would set up some good emotion from not only Sam, because everyone's talking about how Sam would respond to that. Let's not forget that her love interest is Chad.
Mm-hmm.
That would also do some really dark things to Chad. So
yeah, it would.
I think it was on your stream probably. Most of the stuff for the first time I talk about is on your stream.
Yep.
But I think I said, like, what if Mindy and
Tara?
Yeah, Tara. Yes.
Like,
yes.
Here's a scenario, wild scenario. What if Chad and Tara were engaged?
Yep.
And Mindy would be I don't know in terms of pronouns what they would want to be, if it would be like best man or maid of honor, but Mindy and Tara were off together doing something for the wedding and they get taken out. Then you got Chad doubly angry. You got Sam furious. Bro, they would go on a killing spree. Like any Ghostface that came within like 10 feet of them would get destroyed.
It would be a personal fight up to the ages.
Exactly. So that's the only reason I'd be on board with it. Other than that, I think I like Tara's character. I'd want her to stick around. In terms of the killer thing, though, what they said about like their original motive plus you killed our friend. You know what that reminded me of? You're Next. Remember how there were 3 killers? One of them was actually the brother of. So it immediately reminded me of that because they had their original motive, and then of course they were out for vengeance after that.
That's right.
So,
yeah,
your Next was such a surprise slasher for me. I was looking at the feeder at the time, and I loved it. It shocked me. I loved it.
So good, and so. Not. It doesn't seemingly be. It's not. What's the right grammar? It doesn't seem to me as if it gets any recognition hardly at all. Like people that see it, if you talk about it, they're like, "Oh yeah, like it's amazing." But like, I wish it was more of a universally heralded movie in this last because it is more so mainstream. Good. Yeah, like more of a mainstream talked about slasher film. And I mean, that's a fantastic movie. I've seen it several times. And dude, what's her name? Erin.
Barney Vision.
Yeah, Erin.
Yes, Erin is her name. Her character's name.
Oh,
what a final girl. She is.
Could you imagine her in a Scream movie?
Heck yeah,
Ghostface doesn't stand. What if she was the Ghostface?
Now that'd be a fight.
Sam ain't gonna last. I'm just gonna say it.
Dude.
Yeah. Do you think they'll kill off Gale, even as an opening kill? I don't think they ever will.
No,
I don't think so. What do you think, Kyle?
They need a better impactful kill to do that. Gale would just be like, "Yeah, we already been here. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if they didn't have an opening kill like until the middle?
That
I
would be
mean,
something.
Like, I mean, everything's been based. I mean, like you just kind of lead a story a little bit somehow, and then boom, you bring in a kill and you bring in Ghostface. I mean, all the movies have been right off the bat. We know that, but I'm just saying, like, if you tied something in like that, I don't know.
Trying to shake things up. Yeah. Eric, two boys. I mean, oh gosh, Bearded. This terrible screwed me up.
There's two of them.
What if we skipped mirroring the opening of 3, we mirror the opening of 4. We get this long drawn out opening, and instead of when they go to the slash, instead of the Stream 7 title card, we get a Stab 10 title card.
Yeah,
and then you hear cut.
And and you're actually on set with cameras, lights, and microphones, like a whole crew around them.
Like you're not watching the movie; you're there while they're making the movie. So that would be, you could mirror 4 and 5 that way.
Yeah,
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
So, but you don't have your traditional opening kill,
right?
But you see one, but it's not actually a kill. So that'd be a way to subvert expectations.
Yeah, because you normally expect the opening, and then you throw in Eric. It's like I think something like that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, do an opening that we don't expect because we're all expecting this opening kill. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Brett's like, leave Gail alone.
Oh yeah, I knew Brett was not going to be on board with this Gail talk.
Oh, she's coming.
Yeah, man, that'd be fun though. And even if it wasn't Stab 10, it could be whatever the name of the true crime series is. If you want to go with the mini series idea, and then somebody left a message on one because I made this suggestion about that on a video recently, last few days, and someone had commented saying, why would the Core 4, or basically saying the Core 4 wouldn't be involved with a true crime series, and my response was, you're absolutely right. They wouldn't be. You would see them off camera talking about, can you believe what they're doing, what they're saying about our lives, and how dare they take our experiences. And so they wouldn't be on the show. They would be against the show. And then when people start dropping dead, they're prime suspects.
All you got to do is drop a line from one of them about how like the lawsuit failed or something. So
there you go.
Pretty much, yeah. One of them drops a line like that, so it's conveyed that they tried to stop this thing from happening.
That's right.
It didn't go their way, and you know what that does too? Throws a little shade at the studios for taking people's stories and profiting off of them, even when they don't want to. And guess what else? Scream 3 did. It threw some serious shade at the studios. So,
sure did.
Well, particularly the head of the studio,
old
Harvey.
Milton. I'm sorry, Milton.
You knew Wes was throwing the shade at him.
He sure. And did y'all see the assembly cut when Cotton Weary was at the beginning was on the phone with Christine, and we know was a killer, and he's talking to his agent, right? The second phone rings. He's like, "Hello," and it's the female voice, and she's like flirting with him and stuff. He's like, hold on. And he's like, hey, I got to call you back. Harvey's on the other line. I'm like, oh no. Yeah. We've already got Wes dropping Harvey's name in the beginning. Oh, dang. But anyway, I just thought that was funny.
Ooh, yeah. So Brett, I've said that.
Show one of the main characters being attacked. Looks like they're going to be killed. Then after the title card, have it go back a couple of days. And opening attack takes place in the finale.
Oh,
so it's non-linear. I recommended that a long time ago. The only issue that the common thing that was an issue people said was that then you would know that person, like when it gets to that point, you're going to know that person is kind of looking down and out.
Takes the mystery out of it.
A little bit foreshadowing.
Almost like what Evil Dead Rise did.
I love non-linear storytelling because that's a very popular method used by Quentin Tarantino. He'll often start at toward the end of the movie, start in the third act, and then go back and retell the story. Right. I I love the movies where you watch a timeline play through different people's vantage points. So you see the same thing happen or the same movie like 3 times, but it's from different perspectives. So that would be really cool to do that with a screen film.
Yeah.
Well, hey, speaking of which, have you guys seen the Apple TV original series After Party?
I don't think
Y'all
so.
heard of that?
I haven't. I heard of it.
Oh, guys, okay. Bearded, especially for you, because just after what you just said, there's one season's already there, and it's halfway through season 2, and the whole show is there. It's a whodunit. A murder happens, a death happens, and every episode, you're hearing the vantage point of a different character, and it's mixing the scenes back in, but from a different perspectives. It's exactly what you're talking about, and it's really fun. So if you have, it's worth the price of admission just to subscribe for a month. Watch. It's called After Party. It's on Apple TV. Highly recommend it. And I got another recommendation, guys. This is from Jerry Wilson. Jerry, I don't know if you're here, but Jerry in the chat, but one of a Crave, he's a Cravenite. Jerry recommended to me, I think yesterday or the day before, maybe even Saturday, to watch a Netflix movie called Killer Book Club. And I am almost done watching it. I turned it off before the stream. I've got 20 minutes left. It is fan-freaking-tastic. I telling you guys, it's got such Scream vibes to it. And it is a whodunit, 100% mass killer. People are dying one by one. It is really, really good. I haven't seen the whole thing, but I can tell you that 3/4 of the movie, I'm on board with it. So check it out. It's on Netflix right now, called Killer Book Club. Yeah, go ahead, Eric.
Did you? If not totally cool, but did you check out that fan short I talked to you about the other day?
Dude, I haven't seen it yet, bro. I'm going to, but I have not seen it yet.
Okay, anyone, if you like Nightmare, this guy, he wrote it and directed it, and I think he did it because he looks like Robert Englund. Like this dude,
Yeah.
He kind of looks like a young Robert Englund, but it's a short fan film. It's a prequel to Nightmare, and the setup is Freddy Krueger was actually arrested and charged with all these killings before the stuff happened. But what happened was this detective didn't go by the book to get him arrested, so all the charges get dropped and get thrown out. So basically Freddy's a free man even though he did all these things, and this detective is going to take things into his own hands, and the detective name's Coleman. But y'all, it's only like 40 minutes. It's like 38 minutes maybe. It's such the middle is really weird, but like the dude really sells like a Fred Krueger pre-transition. It's go for it. Yeah, that's right, Brett. That's right.
Brett?
You want to check
Brett,
tape?
he nailed it. I love that. It's hilarious.
You want to check tape? We'll go. Man, we talked about this a long time ago, though, didn't we? I think it was before 6. We talked about it before 6 because I recommended that be something that 6 did.
Right.
But
I almost watched that prequel last night because I was a guest over at Movies and Beyond with Michael and Matt, and we were going to watch that together live and then talk about it. And we got to talking about everything else you can imagine, and time ran out, so we didn't get to watch it. But I'm going to definitely be watching it soon, for sure.
Yeah, I recommend all y'all watch it. Like I said, it's free. It's on YouTube. Like, it's like I think the title is "The Last Dream of Detective Coleman."
Oh, yeah, it sounds right.
Yeah, dude, the guy. I don't know what really sold me was the laugh that you hear, because the guy laughs, and like when you hear it, you're like, "That's Freddy Krueger's laugh," and the music it's very convincing for a fan film. So I recommend it.
Well,
it's not my word, but.
Hey man, well, when you're talking about music, I need to know this. Did it have a tropical vibe, kind of like this?
the jokes
Something like that,
ready
yeah.
with him.
The
Yeah,
hair.
there's some vibes just like that.
I've got 2 new super chat clips loaded up for tonight, and we're gonna go for about 10 more minutes, and we're gonna call it a night, guys. But if it doesn't come in tonight, I'll save them for the rest of this week. I got multiple watch parties, but they are friggin' hilarious. One of them in particular is gonna make your head explode. The other one is cute, but one of them is just like, whoa. I can't wait to show y'all. But in due time. All right, guys. So talking about one more time about Scream 7. I know we kind of touched on this early, but that was a long time ago. A lot of new folks have joined. So I want to go around and ask this question. Kyle, starting with you. If you were able to determine the shooting location and setting, virtual or real, like in other words, as we talked about earlier, you don't have to go to the actual physical location to
Right.
say you're there, a la Montreal and New York. So if you could do any location or setting for Scream 7, what would you, as your own personal opinion, what do you want to see?
Besides the location in my province, I would love to see somewhere they haven't done before. Maybe, a New Orleans type location would be cool. Would be interesting.
Okay.
Or New Orleans type location.
Maybe Spring Break or Mardi Gras or something
Mardi
like
Gras, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Mardi Gras, you.
that. Dude.
No, sorry, there was a Reddit thread on the Scream subreddit the other day, and the title was it was a legitimate question. It was a good conversation actually, but it said, how would you feel if they ever introduced nudity in a Scream film? Because it hasn't been something we've had so far.
No, we have not.
And it was a good conversation of people like, oh well, I don't, it's about how the genre was kind of built on some of that, and how it could be paying homage to that, but versus like how it was. I guess it's kind of believed that Wes never wanted any of that.
Right.
So it was a really good conversation. But when he said Mardi Gras, or when you said Mardi Gras, I'm like,
oh gosh,
first Scream film to have nudity right there.
Oh man, I didn't even think about that part of it, dude.
I didn't think about that either. I just thought it would be cool, but
there'd be too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that would work after all.
Never mind.
It would have to be shot during the day.
Yeah.
Like that.
Nev Campbell.
I was thinking they were coming to a restaurant after the parade, and like you see Jenna walk in, like 2 or 3 pairs of beads. You see, you see Sam walk in. She got a little bit more, but then you see Chad walk in, his just neck full of beads.
And Chad actually
be working
it. He actually does have his shirt off with all the beads. The girls are fully dressed with some beads. That's hilarious.
That's what I'm saying. Chad walks in,
Yeah.
workout in that parade.
And no knife marks either on the side.
I want to see that. Like, I want to see those scars.
Can you imagine the scars of the 17 stab wounds? Ooh,
Man. I was about to say Nola Ray probably would really want it to be in New Orleans. I mean,
it's right. New Orleans.
Is that what NOLA stands for? New Orleans,
NOLA, yeah.
Louisiana?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
Or even Hawaii.
You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say
what's your answer?
Florida. And only because there's a lot of big locations in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And Florida Man is just a menace, So, like, could you imagine Florida Man as Ghostface?
Oh, gosh.
There's be some crazy. Real answer, I would say Atlanta. That thing I came up with earlier, just Atlanta being the fake Hollywood.
Yeah.
Or the new Hollywood shooting location. And, I could, drive over there.
I just couldn't imagine Ghostface in Vegas. That would be just out of the question.
Oh man, too many cameras.
Too many cameras.
And that's the thing that was something that I didn't like about New York. New York is one of the most surveilled cities in the world.
Good point.
And I'm like, we're not going to talk about how the cameras didn't catch whoever was running into the bodega or catch them running out of the bodega. Like,
Right.
That's one thing that one of the things that my head thought about when it came to New York that they never brought up. I'm like, you can get DNA from this mask within like 30 minutes, but you can't get that footage.
Right. Street cam or building cams or it's
ring
true.
cams.
Yeah.
On people's door now. Yeah.
Realistically, you would have.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like it just. So I'll say Atlanta. Atlanta being like the fake Hollywood. I think that would be a good.
That would fit well.
Yeah.
Okay. I think so. Two boys. What's your if you're writing it, man? What's your location?
I want the woods snow cabin in North Carolina.
Yeah. Love it.
I mean, definitely. Like I said, I mean, for me, winter. Like let's just have them. If you're gonna film around that time, they're just taking a trip. They're going skiing. It could be some kind of ski resort.
Yes.
Could you imagine? If they went, Adam Green's Frozen in that type of scenario with Ghostface. They're stuck on ski lifts.
Oh gosh. I'm with you.
I was thinking the frozen cabin or the snow cabin thing really takes you back to slasher though. Like it
does.
And you said you were trying to figure out what the first season was, Stephen. It was where they accidentally killed someone at the beginning, but then they go back to that camp years later, or they're staying in a cabin.
I thought that was season. Oh, that's season 1. I thought that was.
You're right.
That's not season 1.
That's season 2. Okay, so that's the only one I've ever seen, and I haven't even finished it because remember you, Jack, and myself were doing watch parties.
It's a year ago. We were supposed to finish that thing.
I think there's like 2 episodes left, and I haven't finished it. So, but
well, we need to do that. We just need to do it.
So like that. That's kind of what it was reminding me of, though, because that's kind of what was happening. They were getting picked off in different ways.
That's right.
That cabin in the so. But
hey,
man, if you. Like Eric, the two boys said, I wouldn't hate, cabin in North Carolina somewhere because, well, that's close to me. So
I love all your ideas. I think mine's a hybrid of some of them. I love the snow, and I have been wanting that forever. I think I'm going to stick with that if I'm writing or have the ability to scout locations. I'll find a snowy location. Doesn't really matter where. So sure, North Carolina. Why not? We'll do it for Eric. But anywhere is fine with me, honestly. But I want a ski resort so that there's more suspects. There's more red herrings to pull from. But I like the closed in. It's snowed in. The internet's down.
Yeah.
There's no way to reach. Cell phone calls are impossible. So you have that claustrophobic feeling because you're of dread because you can't reach out for help. You are on your own.
Almost like the film The Lodge. That type
of Lodge. I never saw that.
And like Chris says, a big snowstorm separates them.
Yes, exactly, man. That's right. You can't. Yeah, all of those scenarios would be, I think, so entertaining, and potential for amazing stuff. Right. And so many suspects you could have. Then, man, I would. This is what I would want personally, if I could draw it up. This is my scenario: the ski resort, and they just get a horrible snowstorm, comes in and just dumps too much snow, and everything's out. The Wi-Fi's out, phones are out, cell phone towers aren't working right, and that. Let's face it, guys. If any of us were in a, I think I can speak for all of us, but maybe not. But if I was in a ski resort, guys, like this, and this happened, and you mixed in someone and running around in a masked costume, killing people left and right, I would be terrified, man. It would be horrific for me.
What
You
if
know,
what if they changed the costume if it was in the snow? What if it was solid white, literally all white, no cutout, like the eyes white, mouth
all of it's white. Even the mask
robe,
is all white.
everything head to toe
Wow.
was white,
It would be interesting.
like
Using Ghostface.
to camouflage him with the snow.
Yeah, right. Ooh. You know, it's just you just have to be careful when it comes to a white hooded
Yeah.
robe. You know,
We did talk about
that's
that the other day.
that's the only thing, dude. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, I don't know. I don't know. Two
Like,
boys, do you have a comment real quick on that?
Well, I was just gonna say, you know, like we got to make sure too that they can have the phone calls. You know, they got to be able to have the access of
That's true.
ghost-based calling. You know, I mean that aspect, that element of it. But you know, I'm sure, you know, even like if the Wi-Fi's out or whatever, like the phone, they could still be okay. Like if you know what I mean, like there's a way around that, I guess. But just having
Yeah.
that whole element of them being separated, you know, but there's a lot more people that could create the body count, and just not to where we know, like, oh, well, nobody's dying, so we kind of know who the killers are.
Yeah.
And you get
Yeah.
the blood in the snow, like you get some cool kills, and
Yeah, man. Oh yeah. Bearded, go ahead.
with what you said about there being no phones, I'm like, okay, well, you got to hear Ghostface. That's like part of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Some old like ski areas have like loudspeakers placed around.
Ooh.
What if you got Ghostface over the loudspeaker? Everyone would hear it. But then that could also set up part of the chase, part of the hunt, because well, there can only be a few locations where he could be using that from. So then the people start trying to track Ghostface down based on like when they're okay. Well, we hear him coming over the intercom. He's got to be one of these like 3 locations. So then they split up trying to find Ghostface.
Roger Jacks go all menacing on the intercom, yelling.
Oh, and you know
So-
what's crazy is that they go split up, right, in pairs, and they go to each of the locations, and all of a sudden, when like 2 of them show up, and they're like, "I see Ghostface, we've got him," and then all of a sudden, somebody says, wait a minute, I see Ghostface as well," and then another one says, the third one, "Guys, I see Ghostface too. There's 3 of them."
Oh
Like,
yeah,
oh my
at each
gosh,
location, yeah.
yes,
So yeah, and I've been so someone brought it up a long time ago. Ghostface on a cruise ship, which
Yep.
I was just sternly against that, and I still am. Other than the one thing that I brought up, I'm like, the only cool thing about it would be hearing Ghostface come over the ship's intercom and Ghostface
That's
saying like,
right.
"This is your
Welcome.
captain speaking,"
yeah,
and like
Ooh.
go into some like deadly tirade after that. So I think
Bro.
Ghostface over intercom would be great. But what you just said, that would be amazing. Like, oh, we see him.
Yes.
He's in the booth. Wait, he's in
Exactly.
our booth too.
Uh-huh.
And then, but then it turns out like here's the thing. It turns out the people in the booth, that's not actually Ghostface. Ghostface, solid white costume, was actually just disguised right over to the right of them. We didn't see them because they're camouflage. Jump out. There you go,
Dude,
man.
that's so,
We could make this movie
Oh.
so much better than I think
Bro.
Hollywood could.
We need to get the rights to the franchise.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
That's way too expensive.
I mean-
Well, I know, but
I mean, we can compile our bank accounts, 300 million. We could probably make a pitch to get the rights. No. Oh my gosh. I don't know how much they pay, but I don't know what Spyglass paid to get the rights to the Scream IP, but man, I guarantee you it was not cheap.
no.
I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars had to be.
I'm just
I'm
saying,
gonna-
could you imagine if we did though? That would be quite something.
Oh yeah. Wouldn't that be crazy? Like, we're talking fantasy land now, but you know what? That's okay. We can do that. Just imagine being the guy like at Spyglass, the head studio execs. I don't know their names over there, but imagine being the people that sit down at their desk every day and say, "My company owns the rights to Scream. Yeah, that's my thing now." And I mean, it'd be like just incredible. What a feeling that must be for those folks.
Well, and they get some chase scenes too, like like obviously like
Yeah.
the Gale tense chase scene, that they've had like in 3, and just have those moments, that really add into that suspense.
Oh yeah, man, for sure. So much opportunity for chasing down ski resort hallways, stairwells. I mean, outside, it's endless possibilities. I mean, just amazing. Wrestling God says maybe the theory of Stu being alive is that Billy was never the smart one, and he wasn't the mastermind, and Stu was smarter than we all thought, and he was the mastermind. I honestly think Stu is much more intelligent than a lot of people give him credit for. I think he's a true psychopath. All of that charisma, all of that joking and stuff. That's all a mask. It's all a cover for who he really is. I'm telling you guys, he's much darker than you really think. Eric, Bearded, go ahead.
I tried to look up how much Spyglass paid for
Oh yeah.
the rights to Scream. I couldn't find that exact number. However, Lionsgate apparently bought out Spyglass,
Okay.
and they bought the rights to 200 movies, the Scream franchise being part of that, and it was
Okay.
191 million.
Jeez, dude.
But that's for 200 movies, though.
Yeah,
So,
but most of those movies are probably stinkers, man.
yeah, so
Not,
Yeah.
I mean, they're probably not very profitable.
so Scream would probably be
Yeah.
a good portion of that, because Scream,
I
it
think
said
so.
it's like it listed in the article I was reading. Scream itself grossed 140 million. So
Exactly.
you got to think they're going to be paying a pretty penny for that.
Yeah. It's kind of like if you collect football cards or baseball cards, and you're like, okay, you're going in for this one card, the chase card, the real expensive card, and they're like, you know what? Here, I'll sell you this card for $200, and I'll throw in 30 of these other cards. You don't care anything about these other 30 cards. I'm going to pay for this chase card, and it could have been. And again, I can't say without knowing all the movies they got. There could be other profitable IPs. I'm sure there are, but you get what I'm saying. Scream is
Right.
going to stand out among the crowd for that group. But that's awesome, man. Thanks for looking that up. That's really cool. Sweet. All right, guys. Well, I think it's about that time, guys. We've been going for 2.5 hours. It's getting a little bit late for everybody, and me included. So it's been so much fun, though. I want to let everyone know. It's so funny because we're actually now growing in size on our viewership is actually going up now to nearly 40 at 12 o'clock Central. But I want to say this, guys. Please subscribe to my guests, Two Boys and their Scary Pops, Flet's Movies and Pop Culture 13, and Eric, which are actually the Bearded Entertainment is the channel. Be sure and subscribe to all of 3 of them. They make great content. They're an amazing part of this community and friends of mine. And I appreciate each of you gentlemen very, very much. And I'm very thankful that you guys are in my life, and I value your friendship. So thank you all for being here.
Likewise.
You're welcome. Same here, man.
Ditto to you, sir.
Yeah.
And if you have not bookmarked September 11th, I mean, that's a great date for you guys
What
to
are you
bookmark. There's a
doing?
video out there that you need to go and like and get to 100 likes. for
Yeah.
the what's happening on the 11th?
You know,
I don't know.
Two Boys, that's a great question. Christopher Landon is going to be stopping by. Yes, the director of Scream 7, guys, the Christopher Landon, as well as the director of Happy Death Day, writer of Happy Death Day 2, Freaky, Disturbia, Paranormal, three of the Paranormal Activity movies. The list goes on and on. On September 11th at 7 p.m., I'll be interviewing him here on the channel, and it's a real honor. I still can't really believe it, to be honest with you. It's an amazing thing, and I'm so thankful and very humbled by Christopher accepting my invitation. And it's a true honor to have him. So we're going to be talking about all of his amazing films that he's done prior to Scream, and it's going to be 1 hour. I was afraid it may have been only like a half hour, which I would have been thrilled. But no, he said 1 hour was good. So a whole hour with Christopher. So you guys need to start thinking of your questions about Happy Death Day movies, Freaky or Disturbia. No Scream questions, but think about the other films that he's done. And I'm going to be setting up a watch party for a Happy Death Day, which is one of my favorites. And I'm going to do one for Freaky because I think Freaky is just so much fun. It's a really fun movie. But Brett says, I've been trying to super chat to get one of the videos played, but it won't work on my computer or phone. Oh no. Actually, now that you mention that, Brett, somebody, I think it was, oh gosh, I'm going to mess it up. No, it wasn't a Hollywood guy. It was someone I noticed a long, long time ago, and I meant to bring it up. And we were in the middle of talking, but they had mentioned about, may have been John, someone had mentioned they tried to send a super chat through. So I don't know what's going on, man. I hope it's not a system issue. Does it still show it's eligible? Yeah, it does. Okay. Don't worry about it, Brett. It's all good. Man, I'll tell you what, I'll play you one of those clips, man. Yeah, but thank you for this, Russell and two boys for bringing it up again. If you could hit that like button, that would be grateful on that September 11th stream. It's on the channel right now. Brett, I'll PayPal you. As Knight would say, you're all right. You're all right.
And I
that's
love that
funny.
you're interviewing right after he was announced as director. That's so cool.
Me too. And as far as I know, and again, I haven't looked it up because it's not a vanity thing. I don't really care about it, about what I'm about to say. But at least to my knowledge, and again, I could totally be wrong. So I'm not making a claim, but it's as far as I know, at least, I believe I'm the first person, at least in the YouTube community that I'm aware of, that will be interviewing him after this announcement was made just a couple weeks ago. I don't know for sure, so I'm not gonna make the claim here, but I think I will be the first, which is even an extra honor. Again, that stuff doesn't motivate me. I could care less if I'm the 30th or 100th. I'm
Just
just
the
honored to
interviewing
do
is
it.
the most perfect. Is the best
But
thing.
nobody has that Craven, Wes Craven tie-in. Like you have that, like, and that's the
Yeah.
thing. And the thing is, expect it because you've been doing some amazing things. Like your interviews, the people you've been bringing on, you have been doing an amazing job in this community. And I think that
Aw.
it is definitely being noticed from different areas. And maybe
Mhm.
even people that have been on your interviews might have even said, "Hey, you know what? Yeah, have you checked Craven out? Like he's an awesome guy."
Yeah.
So
Aw.
I would say to expect more as you keep climbing because there's going to be people that want to be on your channel for that interview.
Yeah.
Aw. Thank you, man. That's very
And
sweet.
I gotta appreciate Dave Sheridan for telling this is true, by the way. He emailed me. He told me that he told the Wayne brothers about me, about my
Oh,
channel
nice.
after I interviewed him.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah, so even the Wayne brothers know about me.
Very cool. Wow.
Yeah.
You just never know. That's one thing I've learned, and I mean, not just being on YouTube, but just through life. I'm getting to be an old geezer, but I'll tell you, especially in this journey, and I'll share more next Saturday because it's going to be a very emotional night for me on my anniversary. But one thing I have learned is to never, ever say never. Don't do it. Don't let doubt or assumptions ever make you not take a chance. You know, and this I can't show a clearer example than this Landon interview because I'm telling you, my first thought was I'm not even going to bother. There's this I'll never hear from him. And then something to me, I said, you know what? No, you've been doing this long enough to know. Sometimes you get surprised, and of course, every time I get a response, I am surprised. I don't care who they are, what they've done in the film industry. I'm so grateful to get the chance to meet them and talk. about their experiences and their amazing work, because they bring these movies to life, whether they're the actors, the stunt crew, stunt coordinators, or if they're the writers or the directors. They all bring it to life. So this is the case in point that I never dreamt I would hear back. I mean, I was like, oh, my email is going to be under 1,000 others in a pile. And when I got the response back, I literally, I could not believe it. I just was like stunned for a minute, and I kept reading it. I like over and over for like 10 times. I just kept reading it. I'm like, I'd be happy to join you. That's what he said. I said, oh my Lord. He responded, and it was a yes, which also, guys, I have to say, makes me feel like knowing he went to my channel and looked at the channel. And he said that this channel is, I hate to say this because this sounds so self-appreciating, and I don't mean it to be, but the thought is that, let me put it this way. I'm going to restate it this way. The fact that he said yes makes me feel like my channel and the way I'm doing things is the right way, because if it wasn't, he would not come on the channel.
No, he wouldn't give time of day.
I would have never heard from him.
Mhm.
No. So something about the channel that he looked at, and he realized this is a place that's handled rightly, and that means more to me than I could even say, because it's very validating. Beardy, go ahead.
I just wonder who was your first celebrity interview?
Oh, I'll never forget it. It was Nancy Ann Ritter, the girl in the bathroom. She was numero uno.
And then look where you are now. Now you went from like supporting character,
yep,
to the director.
Yes, yeah, in 2-year period, and I just can't. And it's really. I mean, even now I'm getting tongue twisted. It's just I'm so grateful. All I can say is I'm humbled. I'm not arrogant about it. I'm the opposite. I still can't believe it even has happened. And listen, all these other folks that I've had the privilege of having, and others like Chuck. This guy, he is stunt royalty in Hollywood. If you go look him up on IMDb, go look at his work. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, it will blow your mind. And of course, Scream 3, I can't wait to talk about that. But all of these individuals that I've had this privilege for, I feel the same way about. Anyway, I won't go on and on about it. I'm so thankful and grateful. Oracle say it'd be a dream come true to be on Craven's live stream sometime on camera. Oh, Oracle, well, that's very sweet of you to say.
Well, I think
there's a way you can do that.
Well, sorry guys, Eric. Oh gosh, no.
I was gonna say I think he's passionate about Wes Craven, the film. He sees that through your channel, and it's like, like I definitely could come on, no problem. Like it speaks volumes about the type of person he is, but at the same time, it speaks the volumes about your channel, like what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Oh,
and so,
thank you, buddy.
And I mean, that's what I'm saying. I think at this point, to expect it a little bit more, because you do put a lot into your channel, and there's a lot of things that you do for the community that makes it not just about YouTube and talking about Scream. There's so more to it.
Oh, that's what I've always wanted it to be, and always, it's very important to me that it always will be that other piece. Thank you, two boys. And Beardy, go ahead. You wanted to say something too?
Well, Oracle 684, he said it'd be a dream come true to be on Craven's live stream sometime on camera. Well, there's a way to do that. If you remember at a specific level, it is the highest level, but if you remember at the highest level, you're guaranteed to be on the stream.
That's
I
right.
believe the next level under that, there's
a possibility.
So there's a possibility, or you go up to that highest level, you're guaranteed to be on the live stream. So
it's true.
That's true, man. If it's
right.
your dream, if it's your dream to be on on a stream with Craven on camera. I mean, honestly, that's a small price to pay for a dream to come true.
Oh,
I'm just
thanks, Eric.
throwing
Well,
it out there, my man.
that is true. If you hit the join button, you'll see the top tier there, the Craven Cut tier, and it will guarantee you a live stream appearance with me on the panel.
And Craven, I can't wait to ask a super chat about Scream to Landon. I'm excited to do a super chat.
Well, two boys. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, when I'm talking to Landon, Scream is completely off limits. So it's under lock and key. And he even said I won't be able to even share my opinions on the previous films. It is completely locked up in a box and put up in a vault. So we're going to pretend like the Scream franchise doesn't exist for 1 hour. And so I'm going to be focusing, and I'll let everybody know if any super chats that come in that are Scream related and will not be addressed. Unfortunately, I appreciate the support, but send one in on Happy Death Day or Freaky or one of his other films. We could talk about those wide open. So, look, guys, the film is in, he's locked into making this movie. And I understood, like, in fact, when I reached out to him, I even said, look, I understand that Scream is completely off the shelf. I said it first because I already knew that there's no way he's going to be allowed to talk about any of that. And frankly, I actually kind of don't want him to, because I want to be surprised, about things. But I still think there's much to learn by understanding his mindset of filmmaking and directing and writing, that we'll get insight, even though it's not like officially Scream insight, but it's the same guy making Scream. So we're going to have that insight to how he thinks and makes movies. So, and Chris makes a good point. Yeah, I'm sure Paramount, Spyglass, there's going to be someone watching this stream. That's a very good point.
Oh,
And I'm definitely, look, my goal is to form a relationship with Christopher, that this is not a one-time thing. And so I want to show him the utmost respect in my questions and following the rules, so that he knows this is a safe place, that if he says I can't do A and B, that he won't ever have to worry about it coming up in the next one. And that's what my goal is. I respect him way too much to try to sneak in a backdoor way. I'm just not going to do it.
And he has a lot of good achievements anyways. So, I mean, there's just so much to cover.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Honestly, we're not going to cover all of his movies in an hour. There'll be questions unanswered for me. Go ahead, Eric.
Well, Brett brought up a good point. You could always also ask him about his dad.
yeah.
And I'm going to. I want to talk to us about his dad, and how amazing his dad's work was. And I remember when I was a kid growing up, my parents watched Highway to Heaven every week when it came on. And I don't know if you guys have seen that show.
Oh,
but it is so good.
My parents introduced me to Highway to Heaven. We also watched Bonanza as well.
I know it from Bonanza.
Little House on the Prairie. A lot of people know him from that.
Yeah.
I'm 40. I live 40 minutes away from where they filmed Bonanza.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. Small world, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely going to do that, Brett, for sure. Brett, trust me, I'm gonna talk to him backstage when it's just the two of us, and I'm just gonna, if everything goes well and I feel that rapport is there with them, I'll definitely chat with them offline about some things for sure. But yeah, it's gonna be an amazing night, and we'll be ready, and like I say, people come in and out of these streams, and I'll have a ticker running at the bottom, letting everyone know the questions that, only questions that I can address are going to be from the other movies. So that way everyone knows. But listen, there's so many, like you said, Two Boys, his movies are so good. There's a lot of great questions to be asked, you know? And I want to be asking questions like, um, tell me your process when directing. What is your mindset and style? How do you approach it? I mean, I want to be asking those because those are the questions that I want to know the answer to because that's going to really help me understand how he may approach the Scream 7 film.
I wonder if he's got to be part of the Writers Guild, right?
I would think so. Yeah.
So that might be why he can't talk about Scream 7.
Yeah.
It could be involved. That could be part of it. It sure could.
Because, I mean, he's, directing, it wouldn't, there's no, and if he's not working on the script, he wouldn't know anything anyways, because he's just a director.
Right.
So, like, it could be that, but it would be interesting to bring up Strikes, because I assume he's obviously a lot closer than all of us, but he also, I think he would, if he's written movies, which he obviously has, he's got to be part of the Writers Guild of America.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you, Brad. Brad says you navigate interviews as a pro, so I'm sure he'll want to come back. Just tell him to make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Oh, gosh. Oh, dude. I love you, Brett. You're all right, man.
Look what he wrote afterwards.
Wait, did you say that, Brett? Hold on. When did you say that? I didn't see it.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
I just want to say, I never thought I would ever interview Tom McLaughlin back in December from Friday 13th Part 6, and then I got to interview Tom Matthews not that long ago either.
That's right.
It's amazing I went from director to actor. Yeah,
that's so awesome, dude.
I'm
very happy for you, Kyle.
Like nervous about emailing anyone about an interview. I'm like a nobody, so I'm like, why would they want to come on my channel?
And I got to interview David Howard Thornton, after Terrifier 1, and so I mean, like, it's just sometimes you just got to take that chance,
That's what I'm saying, man. You got to, right?
At least you did. At least,
yeah.
I looked back, Brett. You did bring up the strikes. You didn't bring up him being in the union, but you brought up the strikes.
You guys,
boom!
These two together, man. When I've got Brett and Eric together at the same time, it is an interesting panel. I sometimes feel like I'm Papa Bear. Like, okay, boys, I got to separate my kids.
Do I need to put you in a corner?
You know what you do, Craven? When you're not feeling well or you need to rest your voice, that's when you bring Brett and myself on, because then you won't have to talk.
I want to talk for like an hour. I'll just sit back and watch. But I love you guys. You know that. I love you guys. Well, you know what? I'm going to play a clip here for Brett, because Brett was trying hard. And Brett, that's all right. So get ready to be transported to a new place far beyond our own world. And I will let the clip do the rest of the talking. Here we go. My newest Super Chat clip that will be in rotation. Get ready.
Not a fan.
Oh, dude, not a fan, huh, Eric?
I feel uncomfortable.
Rubbing the tummy at the end. I'm like, wow. Yeah, pure insanity, Chris. Exactly. It's where it was.
That was the hard.
Oh my gosh,
that's hard to process on that one.
Yeah, I don't even know what we just saw.
Trust me.
From Happy Gilmore.
I don't even know what we saw either, and I put the clip together. It is one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen.
Man, your reaction to Knight's new clip the other day, the slapping one.
Oh, dude,
your reaction was so good.
Oh gosh, man.
Yeah, was that Carl Weathers in there? And
Looked
that,
like a clip.
it looked like color
It
was.
did.
Oh, I did. That's funny. Oh, dude. Yeah, I'd never seen that one before. I'm like, oh my gosh. Because I never know what he's going to throw up, man. He's like, I got a new clip. I'm like, oh no.
Now that was scary.
Nightmares. I'm freaked out now. Teletubbies were a horror movie. There you
Teletubbies
go.
was a
Oh
horror
my.
movie.
That's probably gonna
Yes.
be next. They're gonna get the copyrights for that, or the rights to do that, like Winnie the Pooh. They're gonna
Oh,
make
Oh,
it.
yeah.
gosh.
Well, Teletubbies feels a lot more recent than Winnie the Pooh. So Teletubbies.
Could you
probably got
imagine if they did,
public
though?
domain. Oh man, public domain.
Let
for
Tubbies on the
Teletubbies?
murdering spree.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Oh, my-
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey Part 2 is in the works.
And they're already trying to make Bambi into
Really?
a horror film.
Oh, man.
They're working
It's
on Bambi.
ridiculous.
They're also working on Peter Pan.
And then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, whatever.
Did that
Wow.
one make it enough money to do a second one?
Oh, you Blood and Honey?
Yeah.
Yeah, Blood and Honey only cost, I think it was like $400,000, and it made $4 million.
Oh wow.
And a lot in the Blu-ray sales, apparently, too.
Yeah,
Wow.
it made. Let me rephrase. It made $4 million in theaters. I'm not counting any Blu-ray sales. Like Blood and Honey did
That's crazy.
super well,
Did
but it was
you
very
see it?
cheap to make. Oh yeah, I
Did
went
you
to the
see
theater
it?
and saw it. Yeah,
I never saw the movie.
yeah, I went to see it. I was curious, and I think you should. I think you should support like small horror like that because that gives us more.
Yeah.
Even if I don't
True.
think it's going to be good, I'm going to go watch it just so we can get more of it because that person may not have made the best movie right here, but if they're successful, they'll get to try again, and hopefully they'll learn from that. So
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, listen, I think we're going to call it a night. This has been so much fun. Appreciate you all being here. Guys, I'll catch you backstage in just a second. And guys, again, in the chat, don't forget to subscribe to my guest here. They have amazing channels. And as you can see tonight, if you haven't already, they're amazing guys. Great friends of mine, supporters of my channel, and have been for a very long time. And I love the relationships I have with each of you, and I treasure them very much. So thank you all for being here tonight. And for everyone in the chat, thank you all for coming as well. What a great turnout tonight. We still have over 30 people here on a work and school night. This is pretty awesome at this late. And I appreciate your attendance and cooperation. Not cooperation. Your, that's what's the word I'm looking for. Your, look, thanks for being here. Participation. There's the word I was
There we
trying to
go.
say. It's much appreciated. And, this is Wes Craven month, so we're going to end with the Wes Craven clip. And after this, we'll end the stream. And I'll see you guys backstage, all right, in just a minute. But until next time, guys, tomorrow night, members only, 9:15 watch party for Candyman, the original Candyman. So be sure you're there. If you're a Cravenite, I'll be looking for you. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye,
bye,
everyone.
everyone. Even Brett.
Even Brett.
Do
Bye,
you have
Brett.
limits to what you would show on the screen?
I absolutely do.
Yeah.
I won't show stupidity, lack of imagination, disrespect for the audience. Something that somebody else has already done better.
In terms
I
of
don't-
brutal violence, you've done some of the most memorable violent scenes in horror films.
I think I have tended not to do that kind of thing again and again. I think the first two movies I made, certainly Last House the most, and then Hills of Ice also. But after that, got a little bit more abstract. But I think that it's valid to make those movies in your early career, and I don't think there's ever a reason to be merciful towards your audience. They want you to grab them by the throat and keep them there for an hour and a half or whatever. But you're always following your own inner guidelines. I mean, there are no rules for making these films. There's no laws among ourselves, as fellow genre filmmakers, horror filmmakers. One guy will make a film that somebody else might look at and say, that's really, that's despicable.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen it.
And I have a hard time watching some horror films, the hostile genre
Goronography or torture porn.
Torture porn. I just have a hard time with it, but I must say I forced myself to see Hostel, and I remember saying, I just don't want to watch people being tortured, but the film didn't just do that. It had some very interesting character things, and some great action things, and a good director, a good storyteller will not just do that. And I think if somebody just does that, then they are doing it some sort of a violence porn or whatever. And I think a good horror director is talking about, the primal fears, and if you want to be honest about talking about those things, you have to get down to the nitty-gritty about fear and things people do to each other.